Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Gao Wu era. After binding the school beauties, I lay down and won. Chapter 61. Ooh, elementary brother, you are bullying senior sister again. Zhang He's mouth was flat, his eyes were full of grievances, and his two fair and slender calves fluttered in the sea. Shu Lin was unmoved and said, who was there just now looking up to the sky and laughing so wildly? And who calls me a stupid little boy who thinks he's a winner? No, 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 no. A talented and beautiful girl of dignified magic and martial arts won't be rude, right? Zhang He angrily stared at Shu Lin with his small eyes, and after a long stalemate, he finally lowered his head weakly, letting his slightly curly silver hair scatter on his cheeks messily. Quote. Hey, dear daughter. The corner of Shu Lin's mouth opened a large arc, and he reached out his hand with a kind face, and touched Zhang He's head. Don't touch my head. I still want to grow taller. Zhang He pouted and threw off Shu Lin's palm in dissatisfaction. At this moment, a series of prompts sounded in Shu Lin's ear. Your teammate Zhang He successfully killed a second-order sawtooth ice shark. Congratulations, the blood value after obtaining 17,000 team bonuses. Congratulations, you have successfully absorbed 1 point of spiritual power. You have successfully killed 22 second-order sawtooth ice sharks. Congratulations, you have obtained 374,000 points of chi and blood after the team bonus. Full of chi and blood, you have successfully advanced to the 3rd rank martial artist. Congratulations, you have successfully absorbed 22 points of spiritual power. The beep goes down. The momentum of Shu Lin's body immediately ushered in a surge, his muscles and bones were buzzing, and his combat power once again climbed a notch. The chi and blood reserves in the body have also successfully merged from several small streams into a wide river. With a punch, the tyrannical chi and blood condensed into strong chi, and it came out through the body, causing huge waves on the sea surface of several hundred meters. This is another step up. It's not as difficult as I thought. As everyone knows, his record of destroying a whole group of sawtooth ice sharks in this battle is astounding. Ordinary warriors are afraid to explore in this endless sea of bitterness for several months, and they will not be able to kill so many beasts. Not to mention that when he did all this, he was just an ordinary second-rank martial artist. Just as Shu Lin's heart was agitated, Zhang Yi's exclamation with Nian Meng suddenly came from the side. Yeah, how did I get so much chi and blood all of a sudden? It won't be that God finally opened his eyes and wants to make up for the torment he has done to me in the past. Ooh, I knew that the luck of the beautiful girl would not be so bad forever. Shu Lin coughed. Cough, it's not God, it's your father who opened his eyes. Bah, it's your father and I, a little reward for my good daughter. How's it going? You don't suffer from it, do you? Ah, Zhang He was stunned for a moment, and looked at Shu Lin suspiciously. Apprentice, cough, what do you call me? Quote. Well, Dad, I was wrong. It's almost there. Dad, can you tell your good daughter how you did it? Zhang He blinked his pure and flawless eyes, grabbed Shu Lin's arm with a look of admiration, and rubbed his head along the way. Well-behaved behavior, plus the appearance of a white-haired loli, almost made Shu Lin unable to suppress the shock of Dao Xin. It's over. I'll be coquettish again. Another white-haired loli. Who can resist this? Trying to calm down his mood, Shu Lin said with a cold expression, what is this? As long as you are obedient, there will be many benefits in the future. As soon as he finished speaking, he heard Zhang He shouting, ah, again. Why, surprised. Well, my mental strength seems to have risen a lot. Look, didn't I lie to you? If I give a favor, I will give it a favor. Shu Lin said. Zhang He nodded obediently. By the way, good daughter, what exactly does this mental power do? Shu Lin asked in confusion. According to the system's prompt, he has just absorbed 23 points of mental power. But it seems that there has not been much change except that the eyes are clearer and the mind is more sensitive. Unlike the increase in chi and blood, each time his combat power skyrocketed by a large amount. Zhang He blinked and said with a sly light, if I tell you, can I still be called junior brother in the future? Then you should shut up. Woo, but if someone else hears it, wouldn't I be very embarrassed? Zhang He pouted his mouth in grievance, rolled around on the raft, and kicked a pair of little white legs in the water. Then are you blackmailing me? I was wrong. Zhang He was sulking with himself for a while, and then explained obediently. Mental power is more of an auxiliary role for a martial artist to lay the foundation, and it has little impact on the real combat power. But it is extremely important. Because if a martial artist wants to be promoted to the Grand Master realm, in addition to satisfying the chi and blood value of a 9th rank peak martial artist, he must also have enough mental power to condense his spiritual wings. Shu Lin, wings of spirit. Zhang He nodded. The most important feature of a master-level martial artist is the wings of condensed spirit. This is also the way for a martial artist to break through the shackles of human beings and achieve flying in the sky. It turns out that, no wonder they can fly indirectly from the windowsill of my house. It turns out that they have wings. Shu Lin recalled the previous school flower baby's father and his own demon teacher who broke through the window, and suddenly realized. I can't help but feel a little more yearning. Soaring in the sky is the pursuit of all mankind for thousands of years. And, if you can fly, it should be safer, right? Although I just barely completed a takeoff in place, but after all, there are too many restrictions, and the amount of chi and blood consumed is also amazing. Even his chi and blood reserves are far beyond that of ordinary warriors. He can't bear it. Alas, it's such a pity that such a handsome operation was not seen by my school flower baby. Thinking of Su Lingen, Shu Lin suddenly thought of something, looked back at the dejected Zhang He and said. Well, for your kindness. Let's do it. In the future you can just call Daddy in private, if anyone else is around. You can still call normally. Hearing this, Zhang He, who had a dark face just now, jumped up immediately, and his eyes were full of surprises. Really? Well, really. Ahahaha. This senior is finally full of blood, and the king is back. Gives you a chance to reorganize the language. Sorry Dad, it's the daughter who is too arrogant. It's almost there. Seeing Zhang He, who has returned to a cute little loli from a little devil state, Shu Lin fell into contemplation. In this way, there should be no problems at that time, right? Maybe. Time passed quickly in the drift of the small raft. Shu Lin did not find any special floating islands or opportunities. Occasionally encounter one or two fierce beasts in the sea, and Zhang He directly hammered them to death with a big hammer. While he was recovering more than half of the chi and blood that had been consumed, he held the blood recovery technique for research. Until tonight's dream expedition was about to end, he finally completed this incomplete passive martial skill. Blood recovery art is running automatically. Your blood recovery speed has been greatly increased by 300%. A beep sounded in the ear. Shu Lin felt his body's chi and blood recovering speed has tripled, and his heart was greatly lifted. In this limited time, he just completed the original blood returning art. There seems to be a lot of room for improvement. And this, actually already has such a heaven-defying response speed. Over time, if he perfects this blood tactic again, he may be able to achieve a tenfold increase in the terrifying recovery speed. This. 10 times the chi and blood storage plus 10 times the chi and blood recovery speed, this is simply a shame. Looks like it's over tonight. Beside the small raft, Zhang He retracted his fair feet, curled up under him, sat on his knees, looked at Shu Lin and said. Are you going to take the college entrance examination today? That senior will be waiting for you at Mowu. I didn't hear you, say it again. Dad, my good daughter is waiting for you to come to Mowu to find me. So nice. Magic City, Magic University, Martial Dao Building, Dreamland Cultivation Room. Zhang He's slender eyelashes trembled slightly and slowly opened his eyes. Looking at the ceiling above her head, she stared blankly for a while. She couldn't believe everything that happened to her last night. A small raft that can float on an endless sea of misery. A young boy who appeared out of thin air, brought countless mysteries and claimed to be his teammate. As well as, the humiliating 2 bets in a row were lost. By the way, she lost her status as a senior sister. Dad's good daughter. Squeak, squeak. Thinking of this, Zhang He's teeth itch with hatred. Smelly junior. Bad junior. Even senior is bullied. Draw a circle and curse you for being beaten up in the college entrance examination. Zhang He walked out of the martial arts building muttering, and met her classmate and roommate Chen Xiaoxiao head on. Why are you so angry early in the morning? Could it be that he died in a dream last night? Chen Xiaoxiao cared. Zhang He shook his head. That's not true, it's just that I encountered a group of sawtooth ice sharks. Ah, is it the second-order beast that often lurks under the sea and then hurts people with secret arrows? That's too bad. I also encountered one last month, and I was directly stabbed to death by an ice thorn. Chen Xiaoxiao said with lingering fears. Zhang He didn't say anything. She suddenly had a bold idea in her mind. Xiaoxiao, is there any class this morning? Forget it, it doesn't matter, please take a leave of absence for me. I want to leave school. Ah, that won't work, hee, you forgot, this morning was a serious lesson from your own tutor. Zhang He was taken aback. Allah, isn't my demon female tutor not in Mowu? When did you come back? Chen Xiaoxiao held her forehead and said, noon yesterday. Forget it, then I'll ask for leave myself. Otherwise, she will definitely have to toss me again. Zhang He recalled the fear of being pinched by his own demon teacher, twitched the corners of his mouth, and ran towards the teaching building. 10 minutes later, Mowu office. Yan Ziyao leaned on the chair, a pair of long black silk legs folded over Erlang's legs. Looking at Zhang He with a well-behaved face in front of her, her charming and pretty face was full of sadness and aggrieved. Xiao He, is it possible that you don't like listening to your sister's class? No, teacher. How is it possible? I really have something urgent to deal with all of a sudden. What's the urgency? I didn't even listen to my own tutor's class. Ooh, my sister is so sad. Facing the coquettish attack from his own demon teacher, Zhang He thought for a while, and showed a pitiful little look. Teacher, actually, I have a younger brother who has been playing since childhood, and today he took the college entrance examination, so I just wanted to visit him and give him a surprise. Yes, it's not just a surprise, it's better to be a fright. Scare him, he. Is it okay? I beg you, teacher, you are the best. Xiao he, you mean, you want to go to the college entrance examination? Hearing this, Yan Ziyao's peach blossom eyes suddenly flickered, wondering what she was thinking. Yeah, just take a look and come back soon, okay. Zhang He took Yan Ziyao's arm and shook it gently. But I saw my demon female mentor suddenly stand up, showing a smile that is enough to overwhelm all living beings. Okay, the teacher will accompany you. Ha, teacher, don't you have classes later? Oh, I almost forgot, you wait for the teacher first, and the teacher also goes to the academic affairs office to ask for a leave. After all, Yan Ziyao walked out of the office with long black silk legs. Zhang He was left with a confused look on his face, messy in the wind of the empty office. Dude, where's the nesting doll? At the same time, the entrance of the examination room established by the No. 1 Middle School of Magic City. There are thousands of candidates who come to take the college entrance examination. In the crowded crowd, a tall, handsome young man looked indifferent. Among almost all the candidates with nervous expressions on their faces, he seemed to stand out from the crowd. Not only, obviously he came to take the college entrance examination, but he was still wearing a gorgeous and expensive suit. Unlike other candidates, wearing a special martial arts uniform bought with all the money, for fear that the clothes will affect the performance. He didn't seem to take it seriously at all, and his expression was very proud. Beside him, there were several boys and girls in the same brocade clothes surrounding him. Brother Zhang, the examination room in this magic capital is too bad. So many people squeeze into a small place. Yeah, I don't know what's going on this year. It's not the unified college entrance examination in the imperial capital, but it has been changed to the magic capital. According to my old man, the imperial capital seems to be very unstable recently, and the military administration bureau is not staffed enough to ensure the safety of candidates, so it has been changed to a magic capital. No wonder. Speaking of which, this exam room is too bad. Except for Brother Zhang, I can't even find a candidate in the martial artist realm. Cut. It's like what you can do if you have a warrior realm. Isn't it easy to be crushed by the Quiltang Jie? Several boys and girls unscrupulously opened the map cannon. It aroused the resentment of many candidates around, but due to the extraordinary momentum of several people, no trouble was caused. Xu Shi was aware of the gazes around him. Lu Ziyan frowned slightly, and said, Okay, don't say a few words. Don't forget, Today is the college entrance examination, and there is likely to be a Mowu instructor present. Hearing his words, several companions shut up obediently. At this moment, there was a sudden commotion from the surrounding crowd. Lu Zhang looked at the sound. Only see, a beautiful girl with a cold temperament, who seemed to be refusing to be thousands of miles away, walked slowly. Wherever they go, the crowd automatically vacates an empty lane. The entrance of the originally noisy examination room suddenly quieted down. Was astonished by the 10,000 years of frost-like aura lingering around the girl's body. Hey, brother Zhang, this girl's aura is so powerful. Yeah, I didn't expect that there are such amazing girls in the magic capital. The cultivation base must be at least a martial artist, right? More than that, it is a 4th grade martial artist. Looking at the cold girl, Lu Zhang also had a hint of amazement in his eyes at this time, and said slowly. The companions around him were shocked. What? 4th rank martial artist? Isn't that just 1 rank worse than Brother Ziyang? It's so terrifying, couldn't she be able to hang and beat me? Cut. With your cultivation level as a 9th rank apprentice martial artist, she can at least beat you. Li Ming, didn't you break through the martial artist realm? How much better than me? Well, it's not much stronger, it's enough to crush you. Several boys and girls from the imperial capital were quarreling, but Lu Zhang straightened the folds of the suit and walked towards the girl. Get to know me, my name is Lu Zhang, a student from the imperial capital. Lu Zhang walked in front of the girl, showed a refined smile, and said in a handshake gesture. I thought that with my invincible smile, and the aura of a 5th grade martial artist that I deliberately exuded. Even if the girl doesn't fall in love with her at first sight, at least she won't reject this gesture. But what he didn't expect was that. The girl just glanced at him with indifference and even a trace of disgust in her eyes. Step aside. Su Lingyan was in a bad mood. She, who has always been meticulous, forgot to put on a special swimsuit when she entered the dream space last night. As a result, as soon as he flew to the endless sea of bitterness, he was soaked in the cold and viscous jet black sea water. For a severe cleanliness like her, this is undoubtedly more uncomfortable than killing her. And the reason why such a thing happened was naturally because she lost Shu Lin's company, and she became a little dazed. She didn't even realize that in these few short days, she had become accustomed to having Shu Lin explore the dreamland at night. Suddenly turned back to a lonely person, as if the world has changed. The dream adventure that I had been thinking about lost its appeal in an instant. Then, after she had endured for several hours in the endless sea of suffering, the first thing Su Lingyan did after waking up was to take countless baths. The second thing is to go out in a hurry and want to come to the school to find Shu Lin. But as soon as she arrived at the entrance of the examination room, the humming crowd once again made her discomfort rise to a higher level. The aura that was as cold as frost was released involuntarily. I thought this would finally dispel the burning eyes of some people. However, there are always nasty people popping out, just like Zhang Yang last time. So she got angry. Step aside. A cold voice came. Lu Zhang's half-stretched hand froze in midair, and the elegant smile on his face became embarrassed. For the first time, the fascination that has always been good for nothing is useless. Not only was he rejected, but he was rejected so fast. Hello, what do you mean by the disgust in your eyes? My dignified emperor is the arrogant figure of the younger generation. 5th grade martial artist, handsome and elegant. Even if you don't like it, you don't need to be so worried, right? Get out of the way. Su Lingyan's increasingly cold voice sounded again. Oh, sorry. Lu Zhang scratched his head awkwardly and took a step back. The few friends on the side were stunned when they saw this scene. What the hell? Did Brother Zhang just get rejected? Then what else? That half step back, it's very serious at first glance. As expected of a talented girl who is almost the same as Brother Zhang, she is actually a cold goddess. I love her. Speaking of which, in this case, shouldn't we rush to save a little face for Brother Zhang? One of the teenagers with red hair and fancy clothes wondered. After hearing this, the rest of the people rolled their eyes. Go ahead, we'll watch you get beaten here, and of course, as friends, we'll help you call the police. Red-haired boy. At this time, Lu Zhang walked back again, looked at the complicated expressions of everyone, and asked, what's wrong? Brother Zhang, don't hide the loss in your heart, we have all seen it. Yes, Zhang, don't be sad, it's not that you are not good enough, it's just that the goddess has too much vision. Brother Zhang, if the overbearing president doesn't work, I also have a copy of 100 Days of Licking Dogs, you deserve it. Lu Zhang, so, you are the ones who really come to pierce my heart. Trying to look unrestrained, Lu Zhang said lightly, you don't understand. The way we communicate between geniuses and geniuses often only needs a glance. Really, what did the cold goddess say to you? Oh, she thinks I'm too tall to block her sunlight and cell phone signal. So the goddess' eyes made you go away. Quote. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. You vulgar people. Brother Zhang, is there any difference? The red-haired youth asked. Hearing this, Lu Zhang shook the bangs in front of his forehead and smiled evilly. No, but it would sound polite. Cut. The crowd booed. You don't understand. Judging from my years of experience, this is an extremely arrogant and talented girl. Girls like this are often wholeheartedly pursuing the advancement of martial arts. She must have reluctantly rejected me in order not to affect her desire to practice martial arts. Lu Zhang said with great certainty. The next second, the red-haired boy suddenly said, Brother Zhang, another person who feels good about himself has gone to chat with the goddess. Lu Ziyang, what is it? But now is not the time to struggle with this. Lu Zhang looked back, and sure enough, a boy in a school uniform walked towards Su Linggan. He chuckled. Look, even I was rejected, I can't imagine how miserable this person would be rejected. After a few seconds, Brother Zhang, the goddess doesn't seem to let him go. Yes, that boy is so close to her. Hey, they seem to be chatting. The goddess laughed. Brother Zhang, look, that boy who seems to be worse than you is holding the goddess's little hand. A group of boys and girls broadcast the broadcast in real time, and then turned their heads in unison to look at Lu Zhang. Lu Zhang, my mind is so broken. Why, what is this for? For the first time, Lu Zhang doubted his own charm. At this time, there was another burst of laughter from the crowd on the side. Lu Zhang turned his head to look. I saw a burly man with a bright forehead, suspected of being a monk, surrounded by a group of candidates. Ha, little brother, are you a monk? Can monks also take the college entrance examination? It's amazing. Brother Bald, how did you train your muscles? Is it inconvenient to teach you the secret? The bald-headed man was shy, and after working hard for a long time, he spit out a few words, I'm not a monk. Seeing his blushing face, the girls and the candidates on the side were even happier. Oh, bald-headed brother, you are so cute. Yes. Is it convenient for Fang to leave a phone call? In place, Lu Zhang fell into a deep autism. It's not me, it must be the world. Are girls' aesthetics deformed to such a degree these days? Just when he was disheartened, he suddenly saw two top-notch beauty factories approaching in the distance. A tall, curvaceous, with a beautiful face of a classical beauty. The other is a little lowly with short silver hair and a delicate face like a doll. It's on fire. Lu Zhang's gray heart ignited again. Chance. The opportunity to be ashamed has finally come. School flower baby, I haven't seen you overnight, do you miss me? When there was a burst of hurried footsteps behind him, and the target was her, Su Linggan's face was already freezing cold, and her whole body suddenly became chilled. However, when the familiar shy voice sounded for a moment, shish, as if the ice and snow melted, the coldness on Su Linggan's pretty face instantly dissipated without a trace. There was an imperceptible joy in her eyes. Why did you come? Although her voice was still cold, the content of her words inadvertently exposed her heart. Shu Lin smiled and took Su Linggan's little hand skillfully. Have you not seen each other overnight, like every 3 autumns? Dream you. Su Linggan spat lightly, her pretty face blushed slightly, and the little hand that was suddenly attacked only struggled a little, then relaxed. It's not that I'm willing to let him hold hands, it's that this bad guy has a lot more strength. Thinking so in her heart, Su Linggan suddenly felt a lot less guilt in her heart. And the male candidates who saw this scene felt blood in their hearts. In the crowd, there seemed to be a heartbreaking sound one after another. Shu Lin was happily holding the little hand of his school flower baby, as he was about to walk into the examination room. Suddenly, there was a scream from behind. The two looked back together. I see. Outside the crowd, a figure flew out and fell into the flower bed next to it. And where the silhouette takes off. A little loli with a height of at most 1.5 meters and short silver hair was carrying a huge metal hammer. The delicate little face was full of disdain. The Liu family in the imperial capital. Tianzhou student, that's all. Just because you want to talk to me, think about you. It's obviously a cute loli, but when she comes into contact with the giant sledgehammer on her thin shoulders, it looks so terrifying. For a moment, shish, centering on the area where the silver-haired little loli was located, a large area was immediately vacated by the crowded crowd nearby. The faces of all the candidates were deeply frightened and afraid, for fear that Qiu would be affected. And this time in the flower bed, Liu Zhang threw down a large area of innocent flowers and grass in a big shape. His breath was sluggish, and his face was about to cry without tears. Wu, the water in the magic capital is really too deep. He just wanted to gain some face back, so he walked forward very politely, and after introducing himself politely, she asked the tall woman with a classically beautiful face if she could ask for a mobile phone number. Just in case, he also deliberately and cryptically asked if the woman was carrying her child beside her. Avoid breaking up a family because of yourself. Result. Before waiting for the woman to answer, he saw a huge, shiny metal hammer slapped hard on his handsome face. Later, when his consciousness gradually became clear, he had already fallen on this flower bed. Vaguely, Liu Ziyang seemed to hear the disdainful voice of the little loli who he mistook for her daughter. Quote question mark question mark question mark quote. When did I strike up a conversation with you? It was the beautiful woman next to you that I was obviously talking to. Liu Zhang only felt that he had suffered great malice. Now, in a large open space in the center of the crowd, Yan Xiao could hardly straighten her back with laughter. Giggle giggle, Xiao he he, this boy is too annoying, how could he say that to you? It's just too much, Xiao he he, don't think too much. You must be too cute to be mistaken for my daughters. Hearing the words of his demon female tutor's incomparably rich tea flavor, Zhang He was so angry that he didn't want to speak. But the more she didn't speak, the more Yan Xiao wanted to tease her. Don't be angry, Xiao Hihi, it's all because of the bad sister. If you were the only one here, he would definitely come to talk to you. Zhang He became angrier the more he listened, but he couldn't beat his own demon teacher, so he could only walk to the flower bed angrily. Bang bang bang, facing Liu Ziyan who was just about to get up, she kicked a few more feet. Liu Zhang, maybe it was because he was out of breath and felt at ease. Zhang He even had a lot of clarity in his thoughts, and walked up to Yan Xiao again, pouting. Well, teacher, it's too much. He actually said you're old. The smile on Yan Zishan's face gradually disappeared. What did he say? Zhang He angrily said. He just thought that you have a child as big as me, teacher. It's too much. The teacher is obviously young and beautiful, and her appearance is like a flower. As your student, I really can't stand it anymore, so I gave the teacher a lesson for you. Teacher, don't be angry. Don't be sad. You are not old, you are obviously not old at all. After some words stopped, Yan Xiao was silent for a moment without speaking. Then facing Zhang He, he stretched out his hand, lent teacher to use the hammer. Zhang He naturally offered it with both hands. Immediately, Yan Xiao came to the flower bed with a sledgehammer, and with a blank face, he swung it up and down. Let you call me old. Let's talk to you. That's how your Liu family taught you to strike up a conversation. Of course, it's working hard. But even so, after a few hammers, Liu Zhang was about to turn into a large piece of Liu Zhang. The surrounding crowds were all silent at this moment, not even daring to breathe. And the entrance of the examination room. The moment Shu Lin saw Yan Zishan and Zhang He, he secretly said something bad. How did these two come? A witch, a demon loli. They didn't come here specially to find me, did they? Dangerous. The huge word, dangerous, appeared in his mind. Shu Lin quickly grabbed Su Lingan's little hand and was about to walk into the examination room. But at this moment, the two voices he was most afraid of at this time rang almost at the same time. Good boy, Dad, Su Lingan, Yan Xiao, Zhang He. Well, after playing, it's smooth. Shu Lin. This moment, Shu Lin felt his whole body explode, his scalp numb, and a bone-piercing chill shot up from his spine. Shu Lin, are they calling you? Beside her, the smile on Su Linggen's face that was as warm as the warm spring sun suddenly turned into a cold autumn wind with a faint murderous aura. Staring at the school flower baby's scrutiny eyes, Shu Lin smiled awkwardly. Ah. Really? Yes, sister's good disciple. Yan Ziyao's soft and charming voice sounded like a seamless connection behind the two of them. Shu Lin turned his head stiffly, and saw his demon female teacher was looking at him with a smile on his face. From the corner of his vision, he could already see that Su Linggen's pretty face was rapidly cooling down at a speed visible to the naked eye. The look in his eyes gradually became colder. Not to him, but to Yan Ziyao, who suddenly came out. Yan Ziyao naturally felt the hostility from Su Linggen, and the smile on her face became even more blooming. Just like the peach blossoms after the stinging, they bloomed all over the mountains and fields overnight, stunning and beautiful. Yeah, isn't this the daughter of Director Su's family? What a beautiful and unparalleled little girl. With you accompanying my good disciple, my sister is really relieved all of a sudden. Good disciple. Su Linggen's voice was cold and puzzled. Yeah, didn't you see it yesterday? Little brother Shu Lin yearns to be his sister's student and listen to her sister's teaching day and night. As she said that, Yan Ziyao blinked her peach blossom eyes, and suddenly said in surprise, yeah. The good disciple didn't discuss it with you beforehand, did he? Really, people thought you had such a good relationship, so it must have been agreed long ago. Or else, why don't Big Sister accept you as a student? Big Sister actually likes you very much. No, I already have a mentor candidate. When Su Linggen heard the words, her face became slightly cold. I only left for most of the day yesterday, so you were bewitched by this witch. Shu Lin, can't see me, Taisheng Laojun is in a hurry. When Yan Ziyao saw that she was rejected so mercilessly, the joking smile in her eyes could hardly be hidden. Humph, little girl, still want to fight with the old lady. It's so tender. Just when Shu Lin tried to play dead to reduce his sense of existence, a silver-haired little loli slipped over quietly, tugged at the corner of Shu Lin's clothes, a little devilish smile appeared on the corner of his mouth, and whispered in his ear. Dad, my good daughter is here to cheer you on. Listening to the soft and cute loli voice, and the warm breath coming from the base of the ear, Shu Lin could not wait to drag Zhang He over and beat the 80th board. Mama Batch, if it was just a habit, what about now? You just wanted to kill me, didn't you? Do you think the smell of gunpowder here is not strong enough? Ah, what a vicious little loli. So, Shu Lin leaned down and resolutely counterattacked by Zhang He's ear. My dear girl, do you want to swim again? How long should you swim this time? 4 months. Oops, Dad, I was wrong. Zhang He immediately persuaded and pouted to admit his mistake. After experiencing what could be called the most pleasant experience of my dream adventure last night, she didn't want to go back to the dark, tragic life she used to live in. And just as the two were whispering to each other, the two women who were staring at Maiming with their needles pointed at Maiming, and their eyes were drawn with swords, also sensed a strange feeling. It's like someone stole the house. Shu Lin finally put out the fire on Zhang He's side, and when he turned his head, he saw two eyes staring at him like swords and swords. If eyes could kill, Shu Lin felt that he should have been slashed by 1,000 swords at this time. Su Linggen. Shu Lin, who is she? Do you know her? Yan Ziyao. Xiao Hihi, do you know my new good disciple? Forehead. After a short pause, the two replied almost simultaneously. She's my sister. He's my brother. Two women. Your sister, your brother. Su Linggen and Yan Zishan looked back and forth between them with the same suspicious eyes. Xiao Hihi, why did the elder sister seem to hear you called? Dad. Yan Ziyao's eyes were playful. After Su Linggen heard this, she quietly stretched out her small hand and pinched Shu Lin's waist fiercely. Hiss. Shu Lin was caught off guard by being attacked, and suddenly took a breath. He never expected it. It turned out that even a warrior with such a strong physique could not resist the pain of being pinched and twisted fiercely. What's the matter? Good boy. Yan Ziyao turned her head, looked at the expressions of the two, blinked her peach blossom eyes, and said with concern. Shu Lin forced a smile. It's okay, the air is good today, I want to breathe more. That's it. Yan Ziyao glanced at him with a smile but not a smile, then looked at Zhang He again. Feeling Shu Lin's threatening and asking for help, Zhang Henu pursed his lips and giggled. Teacher, you heard it wrong. It's actually Baba. That's my brother Shu Lin's nickname since he was a child. Isn't it right, Brother Baba? Shu Lin. Yes. Okay, public revenge, right. Black-bellied little loli, wait for me. PFF ha 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 ha. Hearing such a nonsense explanation, Yan Xiao burst into laughter and couldn't stand still. He simply regarded Shu Lin as a handrail, leaned against his chest, and clapped his little hands. Good boy, so you had such a special nickname when you were young. Cluck cluck. Seeing that the tragedy of Snack Street was about to happen again, Shu Lin was forced to take action again and control the demon girl. Teacher, get your supernatural powers. Don't you really want your disciple to die tragically at the entrance of the examination room? At that time, I won't be able to go to Mowu. After hearing this, Yan Xiao stood up again and glanced angrily at Shu Lin. Humph, just say that you are a stinky brother, and you know to threaten your sister every day. Let's go, Xiao Hihi, I have seen it, I have given it away, the stinky brother who has no conscience still thinks we are in the way, woo woo. Yan Xiao pulled Zhang He with a look of grievance and was about to leave. Suddenly, a woman's serious voice came from the examination room behind her. Who disturbed the order of the examination room? Beat up the candidates. In the flower bed, Lu Zhang, who was carrying a big bag on the back of his head, heard the questioning voice full of energy and was immediately moved to his face. Finally, is someone going to do justice for me? Hear this serious voice like the roar of Hedong lion. The faces of the candidates at the entrance of the examination room changed. The eyes that were originally envious and hated to kill Shu Lin immediately turned into sympathy for Schadenfreude. Ha 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 ha, let you tread on 3 boats. Look how arrogant you are. On weekdays, I see a goddess-level beauty who is a fortune in life, but you have 3 of them alone. Is such a peerless scumbag finally going to be punished? All the male candidates suddenly felt a sense of revenge. As for whether it was Shu Lin's hand, does it matter? This is the most important, sacred, and undefiled event of the college entrance examination. All candidates who are involved in disrupting the order of the examination room have not had a good end over the years. In light of this, they will be disqualified from the examination and expelled from the examination room, and in the worst case, they will be blacklisted by major martial arts institutes and will never be admitted. However, when Shu Lin and the others turned around and looked into the examination room, not only did they not show panic and fear, but they looked very familiar. Old Wang, Teacher Lu, how are you? Shu Lin exclaimed in surprise. The comers happened to be Wang Badian and Lu Jin. Pharaoh put on a black suit for the first time today, and his whole person looked full of energy. Even the way he walks is a bit sassy. And Lu Jin, who has always been known as the Tigress of Hedong, surprised Shu Lin even more at this moment. A red high fork cheongsam with a pair of high-heeled shoes, with a lady's bun on her head. It looks full of femininity and charm. Of course, without the deafening roar of the lion just now, there would be more feminine beauty. Lao Wang was also very surprised at this time. Stinky boy, isn't it your fault again? Shu Lin was very dissatisfied after hearing this. Pharaoh, what do you mean by you? It seems like I love making trouble. Although I have something to do with this matter. Pharaoh's face darkened. A little is still a million, you can make it clear to me, the college entrance examination is not a joke. A little bit, Shu Lin said truthfully. That's okay, I can cover it. Old Wang breathed a sigh of relief. Shu Lin looked at Lao Wang and Lu Jin, smiled and said. Pharaoh, what's your relationship with Teacher Lu? It looks like a husband and wife. Of course, Old Wang held up the gold wire glasses with a proud look on his face. Ah, really? Shu Lin was shocked, the 2 of them did such a good job of keeping secrets. No wonder Lu Jin brought the demon teacher to me that day, now it all makes sense. In other words, Lao Wang and Teacher Lu are not easy to see. Not only did I know the teachers of the 2 top universities, but now I have even become an invigilator of the college entrance examination. This is not something the average college teacher can do. At this moment, a scene that surprised him even more and was dazed appeared. I saw Yan Xiao walking forward, facing Lu Jin with a grieved face. Teacher, you can't blame me, it's the candidate who spoke rudely to me first. Not only did he want to talk to me, but he also said I was old. Too much. Shu Lin. What the hell? What did I hear? My demon girl teacher actually called Lu Jin for teacher. It also looks like a child being bullied and going home to complain to an adult. The wicked will not mention it first, but what the hell is this, teacher? No, no, no. Is it possible that Lu Jin is still the teacher of Yan Xiao, a magician and a master? Soon, Shu Lin's guess was confirmed. Seeing Yan Xiao approaching, Lu Jin's serious expression immediately became extremely gentle. When she heard Yan Xiao's complaint, Lu Jin was furious. What? Who dares to bully my Lu Jin student? Yan Xiao pouted and pointed to Lu Zhang, who had just barely stood up with the help of his companion in the flower bed in the distance. Here, it's him. Lu Zhang. What's going on? What happened in the moment when I got up? Why do I always feel an ominous premonition? When he raised his head tremblingly and looked over, he was stunned. A long time. Little sister. A blurted cry pushed the farce in another strange direction again. Zion. Everyone. It's so wonderful. What is this? Hollywood family ethics blockbuster. Does it have to be so ups and downs? The crowd of onlookers who eat melons almost bought a bucket of popcorn. In just a few minutes, they witnessed an epic reversal drama. First, the arrogant son of a noble family was disgusted by the goddess. Then the Diosi counterattacked and announced that the goddess belonged. And then, two top beauties, one big and one small, joined to open the Shura field. Blood abuse scumbag, by the way, let the single dogs present become lemon essence. Then, the invigilator of justice came on stage to preside over justice. Just when everyone thought that all the dust was gone, the scumbag would eventually be punished. It turned out to be a relationship. And this is just the beginning. On top of the related households, it turned into a suspected relative recognition. Is the relationship of the scumbag strong enough, or the blood of the miserable master is thicker than water? Please watch, Infernal Affairs of the Examination Room. Nonsense. Reverse it to the point of vomiting. Trash screenwriter, hurry up and kill the scumbag. A group of male candidates roared in their hearts. And the other side, Shu Lin and the others were also extremely shocked. Whoa-ree, Lu Zhang is actually called Aunt Lu Jin. Doesn't that mean Mr. Lu Jin is from the Lu family in the imperial capital? Looking at Pharaoh in a suit and leather shoes, but with severe bronchitis, Shu Lin suddenly made up a big scene. Old Wang, how did you kidnap the eldest lady of the Lu family in the imperial capital? Isn't it the kind of teacher Lu's family that looks down on you and thinks that you are a small family and a waste, and you are not worthy of teacher Lu at all? Then Mr. Lu disregarded the opposition of the family, cut off contact with the family directly, and then resolutely eloped with you. Shu Lin leaned over to Lao Wang and asked in a low voice, with a dazzling light of gossip in his eyes. At this time, Lao Wang's face turned red, and he gave him an angry look. Is your skin itchy? You even dared to ask about the teacher. Seeing Pharaoh's secretive conscience, Shu Lin immediately thought of that classic line. 30 years of Hedong and 30 years of Hexi, don't bully the poor. Of course, looking at the situation of Lao Wang, it should be changed. 30 years of Hedong and 30 years of Hexi, don't bully the poor young. Don't bully the middle-aged and poor. Don't bully the old and poor. The dead are the big ones. After quietly glanced at the layered folds on Lao Wang's face, Shu Lin sighed. Pharaoh, you have to stand up. There is not much time left for you. Just when everyone thought that the plot would be reversed again, the family relationship that was thicker than water would eventually defeat the relationship households, and when the scumbag was punished by heaven. I saw Lu Jin stepping down the steps step by step on high heels, and came to Lu Zhang with a blue nose and a swollen face. Reach out and slowly walk towards his head. Boom. A crisp burst of chestnut sounded. Lu Zhang, haven't seen you for a few years, you've fallen into this state. Ah. That's how the Lu family taught you. Pick up girls on the day of the college entrance examination. Who do you think you are? A prodigal son in love. Lu Jin's complexion was ashen, and a terrifying sound wave broke out from the lion's roar skill that came with him. Lu Zhang looked ashamed and lowered his head deeply. Sister, I was wrong. What's wrong? Sister-in-law, you taught me before that, no matter whether the talent is good or not, the cultivation base is high or not, you can't be rebellious, arrogant, and you can't disrespect women. You also know that I taught you. What are you wearing? It's sloppy. Lu Jin looked at Lu Zhang's suit, and was even more angry. And a few of you. Don't run. Stand there for me. When you come to the capital, you must abide by the rules of the capital. I have lost all your arrogance of the prince of the capital. Did you hear it? Seeing that the situation was not going well, a few of Lu Zhang's friends who were trying to sneak away were caught on the spot, and they stood up straight and responded very obediently. I heard. Although they hadn't seen Lu Jin very much, they were familiar with her legend since childhood. Almost every elder brother and eldest young lady of the imperial capital family present have heard their father solemnly warn. Whenever, wherever, as long as you meet Lu Jin of the Lu family, run. Run. Don't look back and say hello. When their father said this, they clearly saw the deep fear on his father's face. Hard to imagine. All of these are now the patriarchs of the noble family, and the most unfortunate masters who are also the great mentors of the emperor. What happened to them back then? How cruel is Lu Jin to be able to scare his respected and powerful father like this? Okay, candidates, hurry up to enter. The first round of the college entrance examination is about to start. Having easily settled a few imperial capital thorns, Lu Jin announced the end of this farce with absolute dominance. All the students looked at each other in dismay. Although some regretted that the scumbags were not punished, no matter how much courage they had, they would not dare to raise objections. They began to enter in an orderly manner. Shu Lin dragged Su Lingen, mixed into the crowded entrance crowd, and hurried away from the Shira field. But these three women couldn't stay together anymore. The consequences are so terrible that he is still a child and cannot bear it. Especially the demon teacher and the white-haired little loli Zhang He. One is the tea master who is best at playing with people's hearts, and the other is a black-bellied loli who avenges private revenge and is good at provoking trouble. Compared with these two, the school flower baby is simply a little white rabbit. I can't resist the joint attack of the master and the apprentice. In other words, Zhang He's little loli is not only her senior sister, but also a senior sister. And Yan Xiao is the student of Lao Wang's wife. That rounding up, isn't it that the witch teacher is of the same generation as herself? Hiss, because of the lack of thinking hall. Generations are messed up, I love it. After an hour, the martial arts college entrance examination has officially started. Unlike the language, mathematics and English subjects in the ordinary college entrance examination, there are only 3 items in the world's martial arts college entrance examination. The arena of the cultivation test, the blood test and the actual combat test. Each test represents a quality and talent of a warrior. Due to the special cultivation methods of martial artists in this world, the cultivation-based test focuses more on the martial artist's own luck value. It's called good luck or bad luck, because the vast majority of warriors improve their cultivation by not only killing beasts, but also by finding opportunities in the dream space. Alien flowers and plants like blood fruit, chi and blood potions in brass treasure chests, etc. Although it sounds unreliable, the luck of a martial artist does exist and is extremely important. An out-of-print unlucky physique like the white-haired little loli Zhang He can still cultivate to such a high level, which is completely an anomaly. The second chi and blood test is really focused on the talent of the martial artist. For a martial artist of the same realm, the higher the chi and blood reserves, the higher the physique and the natural talent, and vice versa. As for the actual combat test of the third item, it focused on the martial artist's combat talent. And this is the key project of this year's college entrance examination. The most important thing for the Dream Experimental class and additional rewards is the result of the ring competition. There are several football fields on top of the examination hall. Thousands of students looked nervously at the huge cultivation-based detector standing in the center of the examination room. Zhang Min, the 3rd grade peak apprentice martial artist realm. The next one. Chen Zihan, 5th grade apprentice martial artist realm. The next one. The invigilator stood on the high platform where the cultivation level detector was placed, and performed boring tests one by one with no expression on their faces. Until a name appeared, the invigilator finally got interested and shouted loudly. Next, Shiroishi. Here comes the teacher. In the crowd, a shining bald head stumbled out. He clearly looks like a burly man, but his demeanor is tight, like a primary school student who was randomly checked and recited by the teacher. Shiraishi's big face, full of beards, was flushed. When he boarded the high platform for cultivation, a red light that was completely different from the previous one lit up on the detector. 1, 2, 3. Beishi. Third rank martial artist realm. When the invigilator's voice sounded, the crowd below suddenly burst into an uproar. Is this bald big brother so fierce? It's actually a martial artist. In the same 9th year, Ru Hexiu. I admire it, I have more muscles, and my cultivation is still high, but unfortunately my head is a little bald. Countless eyes converged on him, and Bai Shi's face suddenly turned red, and those who escaped ran off the high platform. Seeing this, the invigilator sighed slightly, a good guy, but his temper is too weak. The cultivation-based test continued, but with Shiraishi's pearls in front, the results of the later candidates were particularly inconspicuous. For a long time. Next, Su Lingen. In an instant, thousands of candidates who had been waiting under the stage and were drowsy suddenly came to their senses. In all directions, countless beams of eyes instantly converged on the beautiful back in front of him. Behind the crowd, Lu Zhang also raised his head. His bruised and swollen face had long been irrelevant to Junmei, only a pair of eyes shone bright. Su Lingen, a 4th grade peak warrior. When the invigilator's loud and powerful voice echoed in the huge examination room. The crowd was silent at first, so silent that one could hear a pin drop, and then, boom, as if it exploded, the voices of the people suddenly burst into flames. As expected of the most famous iceberg goddess and talented school flower in the know. One magic city. Fierce than the bald brother. This is simply inhuman. Yin Yang, even if I can find half of Su Shalwa's girls as wives, it will be enough for me to eat soft food for the rest of my life. Think about you. Dreams have everything. As expected of the goddess school flower. It's really embarrassing for the demon capital, killing those bells and whistles from the imperial capital. Lu Zhang, what have I done? Ever since I came to your devil's capital, the humiliation I haven't endured in the past 10 years, I've endured it all over again today. Why are you all targeting me? Could it be that on the way to becoming a genius, you have to endure so many hardships and abuse? Just wait. Although the 4th grade peak martial artist realm is indeed very good, it can even be said to be a monster genius. But, later, Lu Zhang, I will be amazed and shocked the whole examination room. Time goes by. Next to the test, with the exception of a 1st grade martial artist realm candidate, most of them only stayed in the apprentice martial artist realm. Not even the genius of the martial artist realm made a splash. Can only step down helplessly. Today, it is destined not to be a place for ordinary geniuses. Next, Lu Zhang. Finally, it's finally my time. Lu Zhang's heart was extremely surging. He stood up from the crowd with his head held high, and he stood tall and straight. Although there was no rebellious look in his eyes, anyone who looked at them could feel the raging flames. It's like burning out the clear sky in this magical capital. I've waited so long for a chance. I want to fight, not to prove that I'm great. I want to tell people that what I lost must be taken back. Finally, Lu Zhang jumped, stepped onto the high platform, and slowly extended his hand to the detector. For a moment, the dazzling red light is in full bloom. 1, 2, 3, 5. The entire 5 grids are full of bright red light. This means that Lu Zhang is not only a 5th grade, but also a 5th grade peak martial artist. Only 1 foot away from the 6th grade martial artist. She is actually a whole rank higher than Su Lingen, the most dazzling genius school flower in the magic capital. The crowd fell silent again, barely audible. Only a few cheers and cheers rang out in loneliness. Brilliant. Brother Zhang is awesome. Wow. Ha ha ha. Brother Zhang is forever. Crush all geniuses and evildoers. How's it going? My imperial capital's bells and whistles are amazing, right? Call it. You can call it again. Several young ladies of the imperial capital who had been suffocated all morning finally found the opportunity and laughed out loud. Although the candidates in the surrounding magic capital were unwilling, but the fact is that there is really no way. He could only silently sigh that Lu Ziyang was such a monster. Now, on the high platform, Lu Zhang looked down at the entire examination room, thousands of candidates, listening to the dead silence at the moment. At this moment, he successfully regained that lost dignity. This moment belongs only to this candidate. You can go down, don't block the next candidate's test. Just when Lu Zhang was filled with emotion and wished to sing loudly, the invigilator's urging voice came from behind him. Oh, sorry. Lu Zhang apologized, but it didn't affect his mood. He still stood tall and proud, and walked down the stage. On the face, I saw a boy with a cheap smile on the corner of his mouth walking towards the stage. It was Shu Lin. It's you. Lu Ziang frowned slightly and said lightly, although I don't know why she likes you, I hope you don't disappoint me. Hearing this, Shu Lin raised his head and gave him a strange look. Excuse me, who are you? Lu Zhang almost didn't come up in one breath, his hair was so angry that he was about to step down and leave. Shu Lin suddenly realized, oh, I remember it. You are the handsome guy in the imperial capital who was beaten by the little girl in front of you, right? Resisting the swear words surging in his heart, Lu Zi raised his head and left without looking back. It's just that compared to the momentum he had just been arrogant about, he was a little embarrassed at this time. Getting hammered by a little girl. Little handsome guy in the imperial capital. Shu Lin's words were like a knife, stabbing his heart twice with precision. Lu Zhang was worried again. Hey, don't be angry, look at you, it's just a joke, so serious. The arrogant Lu Zhang of the Lu family in the imperial capital. It's like thunder, dear. Shu Lin's suspected apology came from behind. The words, Lu family in the imperial capital, Tianzhou, and, like thunder piercing the ears, should be highly praised words. But now I hear it, every sentence is ridiculed, killing and punishing. Lu Zhang stumbled, and the blood in his chest suddenly surged up, almost without a mouthful of old blood spurting out. Deceiving too much. Deceiving too much. Under the high platform, although many candidates of the Demon City could not hear the conversation between the two, they could also see that this must have been a secret confrontation. How did you get it? Nonsense. Otherwise, how could this young master of the imperial capital suddenly start chirping, and the heroic appearance just now is gone? The hearts of all the candidates of the magic capital were darkened. But others are worried. I don't know what this scumbag's cultivation is like. Don't be too bad, you will be ashamed of the devil. Yeah, although before this, I really wanted to kill this scumbag, but now. I hope he can fight. I have some unfortunate news, please don't hit me, this good scumbag named Shu Lin, I seem to have heard of it, it is said that it is the biggest shame in the magic capital. What a familiar name, isn't he the waste of the first-rank apprentice martial artist whose cultivation base has been stable all the year round? No way. Why, one thing to say, although I don't discriminate against his cultivation, but just relying on this cultivation to be a scumbag, I must strongly condemn him. Oh, forget it, don't be too hard on others. After all, if you have 3 boats, how can you have time to cultivate? Even if the cultivation level is not comparable to others, at least we still have the advantage in picking up girls. Indeed, I don't know if he is a waste or not, but he must be the most evil time management master. It makes sense. This wave is at best a small loss. Although the voice of the discussion was not loud, Lu Zian, who was still in the 5th grade peak martial artist realm, still heard it without saying a word. His ugly face finally recovered a little. So, that's it. No pressure, just put your hand into the detector. Seeing Shu Lin coming to the stage, the invigilator said in a very gentle tone. Shu Lin was slightly surprised, but quickly realized that this should be the blessing of Lao Wang and Lu Jin, so he nodded with a smile. Well, thank you teacher, actually I'm not nervous. Saying that, Shu Lin put his hand into the cultivation level detector. After a brief pause, an incomparably bright red light suddenly shone out, instantly brightening the entire examination room. 1, 2, 3. Rank 3 warriors. Under the stage, there was an uproar. Oh Defa, what's the situation? A 3rd rank martial artist. Isn't that a practice waste? Wasting Lao Su's feelings, I almost thought I was going to be humiliated by the bells and whistles of the imperial capital. It's awesome. Although it's not as tall as Goddess Su and the evildoer in the imperial capital, it's still very strong. Who said that a 1st rank apprentice martial artist? Come out and be beaten. Even Lu Zhang frowned deeply at this time, a little surprised. It turned out that what they said just now was fake news. It was actually a 3rd rank martial artist. Although there is still a lot of distance from me, but it can be regarded as a top genius. It's a pity, it's just a long mouth. At this time. A boy in the uniform of the No. 1 middle school of the Magic City stood up and said to the debating students. Actually, what you said is not entirely wrong. Brother Lin did not pay much attention to martial arts before, so he maintained the cultivation of a first-rank apprentice martial artist all the year round. But, I don't know why recently, maybe because of love, since 3 days ago, Brother Lin has suddenly risen. Climbed directly from the first-rank apprentice martial artist to the 9th-rank peak apprentice martial artist. As soon as these words came out, a stone stirred up 1,000 waves, instantly causing the shock of countless candidates. But soon someone questioned, aren't you joking here? You can change from a first-rank apprentice martial artist to a 9th-rank peak apprentice martial artist in 3 days. If you play games, you are really possessed by the Emperor. That's right. Besides, you have to talk about some logic before making up nonsense, right? Shu Lin is obviously a 3rd-rank martial artist, and he is not the 9th-rank peak apprentice martial artist you said. Hearing this, Lu Zhang also shook his head lightly, a little disappointed in his eyes. Why, the 3rd-rank martial artist is already a top genius, why bother to make up such an incredible story? I hope it's not the one you arranged. Otherwise, such a heavy vanity and competitive spirit will not be worthy of a girl like Su Lingen, who is like a mountain snow lotus. However, soon more students from the magic capital No. 1 middle school stood up. You don't believe it's your business, but it's the truth. That's right, and correct me, Brother Lin didn't take 3 days to go from the 1st rank to the 9th rank peak, but 2 days. As for why he is now a 3rd-rank martial artist, there is only one possibility. Brother Lin was promoted again yesterday, and he was directly promoted from the 9th rank peak apprentice martial artist to the 3rd rank martial artist. I really don't believe it. This is not what we said. It was said by Director Qin Yuanfang, director of the admissions office of Imperial College, personally. Listening to these increasingly outrageous words, Lu Zhang completely lost interest in Shu Lin. Even Director Qin has moved out. Are you really afraid that you will shoot yourself in the foot? Just this pattern. Can't afford to lose. Seeing that the disputes in the examination room are getting bigger and bigger, the invigilator is also stunned. He turned to look at Shu Lin and said, Shu Lin, what they said wouldn't be true, would it? Shu Lin shrugged. Except that the saying that I rose for love is a myth, everything else is true. The invigilator was silent for a long time, then slowly raised a thumb. Brilliant. Seeing that the students on both sides were arguing more and more fiercely, Lu Jin, the main invigilator, stood up. Her terrifying sound wave immediately suppressed all the candidates in the entire examination room. No noise is allowed in the examination room. In an instant, the examination room was silent. Then, facing thousands of candidates, Lu Jin said indifferently, I can testify about Shu Lin's deeds. As for what they said about Qin Yuanfang, the admissions office of Imperial College, it is also true. Not only that, but also the magic martial arts instructor Yan Xiao, who also went to the magic capital No. 1 middle school together and wanted to admit Shu Lin without an exam. Okay, let's move on to the test now. After Lu Jin left. In the examination room, there was a sudden burst of grimacing cold air. I'm an old swan. This is so real. It's crazy. I almost wonder if my ears are hallucinating, it's incredible. Is Shu Lin still a normal human? 2 days from the 1st rank to the peak of the 9th rank, and 1 day from a trainee martial artist to a 3rd rank martial artist. In this comparison, the bells and whistles of the imperial capital seem to be nothing more than that. Brother Lin is awesome. When one person started to take the lead in shouting these 4 words echoed throughout the examination room. Brother Lin is awesome. At this moment, all the candidates of the magic capital seemed to have transformed into Shu Lin's little fan brother and little fan sister, shouting wildly. What kind of evildoer in the imperial capital? Compared with Brother Lin, he is nothing. On the other side, Lu Xiang froze long after his sister-in-law had finished saying those words. The whole person stood motionless as if petrified. In 3 days, from a 1st-rank apprentice martial artist to a 3rd-rank martial artist. This kind of Arabian Nights, which is told to a 3-year-old child and will be regarded as a joke, is actually so true. Why don't you let people live? My imperial capital, Tianzhou. Lu Zhang, doesn't want to lose face. Lu Zhang fell into deep autism again. On the high stage at this time, facing the almost fanatical candidates below the stage, Shu Lin couldn't help but blushed. Under the resentful eyes of the invigilator on the side, he quickly waved to the stage, and then got off the stage. Only then did the cultivation test continue. Soon, with the end of the cultivation base test, the cultivation base ranking list came out soon. Lu Zhang ranked first, Su Lingyan ranked second, and Shu Lin barely took third. However, Lu Zhang was not happy at all when he saw the number 1 place on the list with gold rims. He didn't even have the courage to take another look. With Shu Lin's deeds that can be called brilliant miracles, this number 1 is so dazzling to him, who is arrogant and arrogant. As if there was a voice that always echoed in his ears, with Shu Lin here, you are also worthy of taking the first place. Is it worthy? Is it worthy? This first, it's better not to take it. Lu Zhang wanted to cry without tears, and his heart became more and more aggrieved. Looking at the upcoming blood test, he secretly made up his mind. This time, let Shu Lin go first. After he is in the limelight, he will appear on the stage by himself, and let him also taste the taste of being the next. Shu Lin, in terms of luck, maybe you are indeed stronger than me. But when it comes to the physical talent of a martial artist, I, Lu Zhang, have never lost. Li Ziming, 9th rank apprentice martial artist. 45 cards of Qi and blood. Unqualified. Zhang Che, 9th rank peak apprentice martial artist. 65 cards of blood. Qualified. Hu Xiaoro, a rank 1 warrior. 100 cards of blood. Qualified. In the examination room, the Shouwei detector has been replaced by a blood test room that is more than 3 meters high. This blood test room looks like a small transparent house, and the surrounding walls are built with special super-strength induction glass. Candidates only need to walk into this transparent cabin, and then do their best to release the blood in their bodies. The surrounding super-strength sensing glass can detect its blood strength and give specific values. As for the evaluation of excellent, qualified, and so on the basis of evaluation, it is determined according to whether the Qi and blood index of the warrior can match his cultivation. Like a warrior, from the 1st rank to the peak 9th rank, the strength of Qi and blood is generally between 100 and 1000 calories, and the 1st rank increases by 100 calories of Qi and blood, which is qualified. If each rank increases by 101 to 150 calorie blood, it is excellent. Each rank increases by 151 to 200 calories of blood, which is excellent. Each rank increases by 201 to 250 calories of blood, it is peerless. As for those who can surpass the peerless standard, there have not been a few in the history of martial arts in the world, and they are called legends. Soon, it was Shiraishi's turn again. Facing the invigilator's kind smile. Shiraishi's big face with a full beard still had that tinge of red on his face, and he walked into the Qi and blood testing room with a big braised egg on his head. Drink. Only a slightly weak soft drink sounded. In the Qi and blood testing room, the power of surging Qi and blood burst out from Shiraishi's burly body. 447 cards. A string of dazzling numbers suddenly appeared. The white stone of the 3rd rank martial artist realm has 447 cards of Qi and blood, and the growth rate of each rank is 149. The invigilator quickly calculated the good grades and read. Shiroishi, grade 3 warrior. 447 cards of blood. Excellent. Since the Qi and blood test, the first candidate with an excellent evaluation has appeared. The onlookers were immediately amazed. The bald-headed brother is still fierce. It's still a pity, it's just a few minutes away from becoming an excellent cultivation genius. That's what I said. There are more than a dozen or 20 outstanding cultivation geniuses every year, but there are very few who can have such a high level of cultivation at the same time. Also, the bald-headed brother is enough to make people envious and jealous. Hearing his grades, Shiraishi had no regrets, and ran out of sight of all the candidates as if he were running away. Looking at this appearance, it is obviously not a social fear, but an otaku. Next, Su Lingyan. As soon as the invigilator's voice fell, the examination room immediately became quiet again. School flower baby, come on. Seeing Shu Lin's heartless smile, Su Lingyan glared at him angrily. Wait until the college entrance examination is over and I'll find you to settle the account. Although he didn't say what the account was, it was obviously something that Yan Xiao and Zhang He did. When Shu Lin heard this, He felt a headache while holding his forehead. This is going to be settled, and then the school flower baby will know that Jonghee is actually a new teammate. 3 people will live in one room in the future. Wouldn't the vinegar jar be knocked over? Soon, Su Lingyan entered the qi and blood testing room. A power of qi and blood that was far more surging and richer than Shiraishi erupted. The blood value instantly skyrocketed. 720 plus. The qi and blood growth of each rank is 180 calories. Outstanding pose. The invigilator looked at this result, and also showed surprise. This is a serious genius in the magic capital. Su Lingyan, 4th grade peak warrior, 720 cards. Excellent. The onlookers made a sensation again, shouting the goddess. Not far away, there was also a hint of surprise in Lu Zhang's eyes. Obviously, he did not expect that Su Lingyan would be so talented even in cultivation. But, compared to me, it's still a bit inferior. Lu Zhang thought so. A confident smile hung on the corner of his mouth. He came from an aristocratic family of martial arts in the imperial capital, and his family had a special qi and blood tester. So you already know your own situation. The growth of each rank of his qi and blood is 245 cards. Not only is it a peerless pose, but even just a thin line away, it can achieve that ethereal and legendary pose. It can be said that as long as there is no legend, he is a peerless genius standing on the top of the mountain and looking down on all living beings. Great show, it's just beginning. Today's magic capital will surely tremble for me. Shu Lin, I'll let you enjoy a moment of carnival, and then be completely bleak for my debut. Lu Zi raised his head high, with a smile at the corner of his mouth, and watched Shu Lin, who was walking towards the qi and blood testing room in a leisurely manner. Before the blood test, he deliberately used the reason that he suffered some internal injuries in the morning and needed to recover his qi and blood. Change the order of myself and Shu Lin. For this moment. In the woods at the other end of the examination room. On the branch of an old locust tree, 2 figures, one big and one small, are sitting on the branch with their legs crossed, overlooking the examination room. Xiao Hehe, do you want to make a bet with my sister? Seeing Shu Lin step into the qi and blood testing room, Yan Xiao blinked her peach blossom eyes and said. When Jonghee heard this, the alarm bell rang in heart. She made 2 bets with Shu Lin last night. As a result, the noble status of her senior and senior sister has completely reduced to her father's good daughter. At this moment, she was extremely alert. Teacher, what do you want to bet on? Yan Xiao giggled. Of course it's Shu Lin's younger brother, the good dad you call him, the result of the blood test. Quote question mark question mark question mark quote. Zhonghe's delicate little face was full of blush. It's not dad, it's. Just as he was about to make a quibble, he saw Yan Xiao suddenly approached and said teasingly. Xiao Hehe, you're not trying to lie to your sister, are you? Then elder sister will be very sad. When elder sister is sad, she may accidentally arrange a lot of papers for you. I was wrong, teacher. Jonghee surrendered instantly. Humph, Xiao Hehe, you've turned bad. Yan Zishan snorted proudly. Quick, tell the truth, what is the relationship between you and my new good disciple? Sister relationship. 0. Do you need to call dad for a sibling relationship? The relationship between senior and senior. Little Hehe. Seeing that Yan Xiao was threatening to take homework again, Jonghee lowered his head in frustration. Forget it, teacher, you better arrange papers for me. I can't betray my little brother. Punish me. Punish your most beloved student. Let her suffer from the thesis assignment, and then be drowned in the sea of questions alone and lose her life. Ooh, it's okay, I deserve it all. Teacher, please don't let me go because of guilt. Even if your students lose their souls and become an emotionless essay machine, they have nothing to do with you, teacher. Yan Xiao silently covered her face when she looked at the actress in front of her. This is definitely not what I teach. Absolutely not. Forget it, let's make a bet. Okay, I bet my younger brother's blood test is at least a peerless gesture. No, legend. It must be a legend. Halfway through, Jonghee suddenly remembered the 2 fiascos last night and Shu Lin's inhuman qi and blood reserves, and quickly changed his words. Yan Xiao, Xiao Hehe, shouldn't you give up the treatment? Are you really going to give it away? Forget it, it's a legend, the last time it appeared was at least 30 or 40 years ago. The voice just fell. Boom. There was a loud bang in the direction of the examination room in the distance. The expressions of the two suddenly changed, thinking that there was a major event of alien invasion, and hurriedly turned to look. Only see. The surroundings of the examination room were quiet and peaceful, and there was no sign of aliens or disturbances. Only in the examination room. The blood testing room is billowing with thick smoke. Blood test room. Bombed by Shu Lin. Chapter 71. Time went to a minute ago. Under the unanimous gaze of thousands of candidates, Shu Lin walked into the qi and blood testing room. The crowd immediately began to speculate. Do you think there will be another surprise for Brother Lin's blood test? It's hard to say. After all, the qi and blood test is seen as a physical talent, and it would be good for most people to meet the qualified standard. Who are you with? Brother Lin, can he be an ordinary person? I guess he might be able to make an outstanding appearance again. Cut. A bunch of ignorant people. What is excellence? I don't think it's impossible to be a peerless figure. I just don't know what the bells and whistles of the imperial capital are playing, but they chose to test behind Shu Lin. This grandson is not a good person at first glance, he must be trying to slap Brother Lin in the face. I hope Brother Lin can directly become the first this time. Just as everyone was talking, Shu Lin in the blood test room had already started. His vigorous qi and blood had been surging in his body for a long time. Once released, in an instant, like a wild horse unbridled, thousands of horses gallop out. A powerful force of terrifying blood and blood that was so strong that 013 was about to form a substance erupted. Detect the value on the small outdoor screen soaring instantly. 500. When it first appeared, it easily surpassed the 447 cards of Shiraishi of the same rank as him. It is already an outstanding appearance that is on the same level as Su Lingen. But this is just the beginning. The value jumped again and became 700. Peerless pose. Peerless. It's a peerless pose. Ha 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 ha. I just said that Brother Lin must be more than an outstanding figure. The onlookers were immediately shocked, and their eyes were full of admiration. Not far away, looking at the dazzling value, Lu Zhang was also stunned. He's actually the same as himself, a peerless figure. No wonder such a cold and arrogant peerless woman like Su Lingen would like him. But at this moment, there was another exclamation beside him. Wait, look, the value is still changing. So fast. No way, isn't Brother Lin a legendary figure once in a century? Hearing this, Lu Zhang looked up suddenly, his eyes suddenly condensed. I see. The value outside the blood test is staying at 800 at the moment. Shu Lin's cultivation base is only a third-rank martial artist, so the peak qi and blood value of the peerless posture is only. And he has surpassed the peerless and achieved the legendary posture. At this moment, Lu Zhang's mentality collapsed again. He took great pains to adjust the test order of himself and Shu Lin. In the end, the clown is actually himself. It is conceivable that after the appearance of Shu Lin's legendary figure, what a sensation it will cause. And his peerless posture should be admired and revered by countless people. But looking at it now, there is a legendary figure, what kind of thing is peerless? But it's just a sidekick. At this moment, the familiar sarcasm seemed to come from Lu Zhang's ears again. With Shu Lin here, you are also worthy to be called Tianzhao. Do you deserve it? However, Lu Zhang never imagined that being a foil would not be his most tragic ending. Under the incredible eyes of everyone, including the invigilator, the value outside the blood test jumped again. Like riding a rocket, the value is climbing rapidly. Intel, 1999. My God, what did I see? The top. 1999. It's really reached the top. Even the blood test room is served. You said, Brother Lin's real qi and blood index will be more exaggerated than this. It's just that it can't be displayed. As soon as these words came out, the candidates in the entire examination room fell into contemplation. Even invigilators are no exception. Because the maximum limit of the qi and blood testing room used in the college entrance examination is that it can test 1999 cards of qi and blood. After all, it's just a college entrance exam. A group of 16 or 17-year-old young candidates, could it be true that there is a monster that can't even stand in the legend? But today, it seems that a monster has really appeared. The invigilator was shocked to the point of being completely speechless. when he was about to contact Lu Jin to discuss about Shu Lin. Boom! A loud bang came suddenly. For a moment. In the examination room, smoke of gunpowder was billowing, and there were splashing glass slag everywhere. There was a pungent smell in the air. And wait for the smoke to slowly dissipate. In the dull eyes of all the students, Shu Lin stood innocently in the blood test room that was smashed into slag, and only a pair of empty iron shelves remained. Beside him is the invigilator, who has a face like coke and turns into an explosive head in seconds. Invigilator. On that day, I was in the exam room recording my grades and supervising the exam. Sudden. The blood test room exploded. Hey, sorry, teacher, I don't know what happened, it suddenly exploded on its own. It's definitely not my intention, you have to believe me, teacher. Shu Lin walked out of the iron shelf, looked at the invigilator with a dark face and a glass ballast, and sneered. Quote. Nothing to worry about. After all, the teacher is also someone who has practiced and can handle it. The invigilator held back the blood in his chest and forced a smile. What else can I do? Of course I choose to forgive him. No way, this is really not Shu Lin's fault. I can only blame the Martial Arts Bureau for being too underestimated when preparing for the college entrance examination. Who said that high school martial artists can't exceed 1999 cards? Isn't that what it is? Of course, if Shu Lin really doesn't like himself, he does it on purpose. Then he won't talk as well as he is now. Ha! At that time, I had to kneel in front of Shu Lin and apologize to him fiercely. The pride of being a teacher. Does not exist. All the evildoers have become like this, not to mention his little invigilator teacher. Even if the tutors of the two top universities come, they have to eat and drink to serve. The blood test is suspended for a while, you all saw it, there was a little accident. By the way, who is the next candidate? Oh, Lu Zhang. You squat here for a while, wait for the new qi and blood testing room to be delivered, and then test it. After the invigilator announced the suspension of the test, he disappeared without a trace. On the spot, there were only thousands of little fanboys and little fangirls whose eyes were so fervent that they were surrounded by Shu Lin. As well as, outside the encirclement, squatting silently in the corner, Lu Zhang looked unlovable. Both Lu Zhang and he Sheng Shu Lin. Now, there was a hurried knock on the door of the director's office in the Modu Military Administration building. After obtaining consent, a military officer rushed in. Su Tiancheng put down a large pile of documents to be approved, looked at him and frowned slightly. What's the matter? I'm busy right now, don't you know? Director, the big thing is bad. There is a big thing in the college entrance examination room. What? Su Tiancheng stood up all of a sudden, and the terrifying aura of a strong master suddenly enveloped the entire office. His face was ashen, the sharpness in his eyes was like a sword, and the whole person was like a raging lion, ready to tear everything to pieces at any time. Because, this is not only the safety of thousands of candidates, but more importantly, his favorite daughter, Su Linggan, is also among them. He stared at the military officer who was sweating like rain in front of him, his voice ferocious as if he was going to eat him. Come on, what's going on? Did the alien beasts invade again? No, it's the blood testing room, exploded. The sound of the military personnel shaking their gums came intermittently. Su Tiancheng was stunned for a moment, and the terrifying aura all over his body instantly disappeared. What the hell? The blood test room exploded. Yes, I heard that this college entrance examination showed a talented candidate whose physique and talent surpassed the legendary figure. He was blown up by the power of his qi and blood. Legendary pose. Su Tian was shocked when he was established. When did our demon city have another genius like this enchanting? Could it be? Yes, it must be the young Tianzhao of the Lu family in the imperial capital, right? Thinking of this, Su Tiancheng sighed silently and said, is that candidate's name Lu Zian? From the imperial capital? Ah, no, it's a candidate from our magic capital. It seems to be called. The military officer shook his head, recalled it, and said, Shu Lin, yes, just call Shu Lin. Shu Lin, the name, why is it somehow familiar? Saying that, Su Tiancheng suddenly widened his eyes. Could it be, that stinky boy? You came. Well, here I am. You shouldn't have come. Quote ? My daughter's college entrance examination, why shouldn't I come? Su Tiancheng looked at Yan Ziyao with a confused expression. Yan Ziyao teased. Director Su, are you really here for your daughter, or are you here for my new good disciple? Duh. Su Tiancheng blushed when he was revealed in one sentence, but still insisted. Then maybe it's my future son-in-law. My old man is concerned about what happened to him. Oh, hearing this, Yan Ziyao's peach blossom eyes narrowed quietly and sneered. The last time we met, it seemed that Director Su didn't have this attitude, did he? What? Seeing that my apprentice is very talented, he immediately changed his attitude. Quote. Su Tiancheng was stunned for a while, and at the same time, he was extremely puzzled. As the director of the Magic Capital Military Administration Bureau, although he and Yan Ziyao are not familiar with each other, they have known each other for many years. This was the first time he had seen such a glamorous and aggressive appearance from this demonic martial demon girl. What's the matter? As long as you get involved with this kid, there's nothing good about it. Could it be that this kid has 16 grams of me? On the side, Zhang He looked at Yan Ziyao with a cold expression in surprise. Is the teacher angry? A tea master like the teacher, a witch who plays with people's hearts, is actually also angry. Could it be, because I just lost a bet to myself? Aha, it must be so. Wow, my Zhang He finally ushered in his first victory today. Little brother, ah no. Daddy will always drop God. Seeing that Su Tiancheng was speechless, Yan Ziyao snorted softly and returned to her usual appearance. Director Su, I don't care what you think in your heart, what is the purpose of this visit? Anyway, Shu Lin is now my Yan Zishan student, and no one can touch him. Otherwise, I, a weak girl, can only seek my teacher's help. You're right, Director Su. Su Tiancheng only felt a sigh of anger in his heart, and his face turned blue and white. Weak woman, you. Can so many masters and strong masters have headaches and suffer countless losses at first sight, or is it a weak woman? I'm afraid you're not swearing. As for your teacher, Lu Jin. Hiss. Su Tiancheng shivered silently, unable to be offended. Ha. Teacher Yan is really joking. Of course, the young people's affairs should be left to the young people to solve by themselves. Yan Ziyao then showed a satisfied smile. That's good. Beside him, Zhang He silently gave his tutor a thumbs up in his heart. To be able to manage the director of the Magic City Military Bureau in a few words and without a single soldier, is worthy of being my teacher. In the examination room, Shu Lin didn't know anything about the impressive record of his own demon female tutor outside the examination room to crush Su Tiancheng. He was squatting beside Lu Zhang, cheering him on. Student Lu, don't worry, you can take the blood test right away. Don't let me down, you must do your best. Don't save face for me. Listening to these similar words, Lu Zhang tried to keep his demeanor on his face, while blood was dripping in his heart. Murder and punish, deceiving too much. Lu Zhang was almost unable to suppress the raging flames in his heart. So, he glared at Shu Lin fiercely, and then silently moved to the side. Squat in another place. Seeing this, Shu Lin is very happy. This imperial capital is a bit interesting. My encouragement is great, please bear with me. Just as he was about to give him a little more sincere encouragement, he heard the weak voice of the invigilator. The blood test starts again. Next, Lu Zhang. Lu Zian immediately jumped up, and without giving Shu Lin any chance to react, he went straight into the brand new qi and blood testing room. 1225. Another 4-digit qi and blood value. Lu Zhang, a 5th grade peak warrior, with 1225 qi and blood, peerless. The invigilator's faint voice sounded, as if not shocked at all. Similar to him, there are thousands of candidates in the examination room. Wow, peerless, so awesome. Ah yes, it's good, really good. One thing to say, this wave of my support for this imperial capital's bells and whistles, at least he won't destroy public property. Ha, you were right, Brother Lin is indeed a bit ill-considered. Don't be like this, our great demons can't be arrogant because of a legendary genius like Brother Lin, at least we should give some face to the genius of the imperial capital. Then, sparse applause sounded. Now, listening to this perfunctory applause, Lu Zhang, who had just stepped out of the qi and blood testing room, was suddenly distraught. He can't wait to stand up again and never come out again. The magic capital is deep. I want to go back to the imperial capital. All candidates, please pay attention. The next step is the last level of this college entrance examination, the actual combat test. There are 10 arenas in front of you at this moment, and the numbers on the arena are from 1 to 10, which corresponds to the ranking of the arena battle. Each candidate has 3 chances to challenge the champion, while the run ends. The first person to enter the ring and become the leader will not consume the opportunity to challenge. This arena battle is limited to 3 hours in total. At the moment when the time expires, whoever can successfully stand on these 10 arenas, then he is the ranking represented by the number of the arena under his feet. After the invigilator introduced the rules, he looked at the thousands of candidates in the examination room and said loudly, "I announce that the ring battle officially begins the countdown." The voice fell. A huge LCD timer in the examination room began to beat. 2 hours 59 minutes and 59 seconds. 2 hours 59 minutes and 58 seconds. Time passed by, and the atmosphere in the examination room suddenly became tense. Except for some low-level candidates who know that this level is fundamentally unrelated to themselves. Other candidates with high cultivation base and competitiveness began to hesitate whether or not to go on stage to become the ring leader, and which arena to go to. The higher the ranking arena, the more intense the competition is destined. On the contrary, several rankings are low, such as the 8th, 9th, and 10th arenas. Maybe because those talented warriors don't look down on them and they're missing out. But there are obviously more than 1 or 2 candidates with such a clever, and the result is everyone, you look at me, I look at you, and they all look at each other. The moment when the competition should have been extremely fierce, was strangely plunged into a dead silence. Compared with these candidates who are not strong enough and can only rely on stealing chickens to find leeks, Lu Ziyan should have been the first to stand in the center of the champion ring marked number 1 without hesitation. But he, who has suffered several blows and autism, is still hesitating at this moment. For a long time, he looked at the tallest ring, number 1, and sighed silently. Forget it, I, Lu Zhang, accept my fate. Rather than humiliating yourself later, it's better to admit it. This first place, I don't want it. Is this the head office? I am a dignified emperor, Tianzhao, a top 5 rank warrior, a peerless treasure, and the last hope of the Lu family. Take a second place leader, that shouldn't be a problem, right? Resisting the grief in his heart, Lu Ziyan jumped up from the crowd and stood on the second ring. I, Lu Zhang, the number 2 champion, welcome the challenge of all students. Maintaining his final demeanor, Lu Zhang spoke loudly to the audience. This classmate, calm down. You're wrong, this is the second ring, and the one next to it is the first ring. Seeing Lu Zhang, who was instantly panicked, Shu Lin grinned, revealing 2 rows of white teeth. That's right, I just want to challenge the number 2 ring. Outside the examination room, Su Tiancheng looked at this scene in the ring from a distance, and said doubtfully, "Isn't this the famous Tianzhao Lu Zhang from the Lu family in the imperial capital? Why does he seem to be afraid of Shu Lin? Oh, because my good disciple tortured him twice, so he admits it." Yan Ziyao glanced and said lightly. After hearing this, Su Tiancheng frowned slightly. Lu Zhang has already retreated, but this kid is still so aggressive. You're out of style. After saying that, Su Tiancheng turned his head and smiled at Yan Ziyao. Of course, Master Yan, don't get me wrong, I'm just a little worried that this kid's temperament will make too many enemies. After all, Mu Shu will be defeated by Lin Feng, even if his talent is good enough. Yan Ziyao's face was indifferent, she curled her lips and said, "Then you have misunderstood my good boy too much. He is not a rebellious boy who is competitive. As long as he doesn't have to do it, he will definitely hide in the most hidden corner and shoot dark arrows." Su Tiancheng was puzzled. Oh, then what happened to him now? Well, it's probably because that kid from the Lu family approached your baby girl in the morning. Catch up. Su Tiancheng stood up suddenly, furious. That's it. Then Shu Lin did a great job this time. It's time to clean up the little fools from the imperial capital. It really can't be done. I'll go and break his leg in a while. No, it's not safe. just break his leg and hit a sap, and send him back to the imperial capital. Looking at Su Tiancheng, who was furious, Yan Xiao burst into laughter. It is said that you, Su Tiancheng, dote on your daughter the most and are willing to do anything for her. Now it seems that your reputation is indeed well deserved. Don't worry, I don't need you to take action, my good boy can settle it by himself. Is that right, Xiao Hehe? Zhang He nodded obediently. Yes, yes, junior brother is so fierce, isn't it easy to deal with a mere Lu Zhang? That's good. Yan Xiao fondly patted Zhang He's head, but an alarm bell sounded in her heart. How could Xiao Hehe know that stinky brother so well? What is their relationship? At the same time, on the second ring, Lu Zhang watched Shu Lin walk up step by step, as leisurely as Shu Lin, and the depression in his heart was indescribable. Shu Lin, do you have to target me like this? Shu Lin shook his head. No, you misunderstood. I'm not targeting you, I'm targeting anyone who's standing in the number 1 and number 2 arenas today. Of course, unless she is Su Lingen. This time, Lu Zhang finally understood. Not only did Shu Lin want to win the top spot in the college entrance examination, he didn't even let go of the leader. In that case, Shu Lin, let's have a showdown between men. Although you are indeed very strong, I, Lu Ziang, are not vainly named. Draw your sword, boy. Lu Zhang put away the gloom on his face. Reach out and stroke on the arm. Clang, only heard a sword cry in the void. An ancient bronze sword with an ancient style and strange lines engraved on the blade appeared out of thin air in his hand. The name of the sword is Qingshan, and I got it from the inheritance of a relic in the dream space. Lu Zhang held the sword in his hand, as if he had returned to his original state. Looking at Shu Lin, the turbulent aura all over his body was revealed. Even the invigilator on the side looked at it and nodded secretly. It is indeed the arrogance of the imperial capital. After so many blows and humiliations, how could he get out of his depression so quickly? It seems, this time, Shu Lin should not be able to take it so easily. Victory or defeat is still unknown, this is a peak duel between real geniuses. Under the stage, thousands of candidates are no longer entangled at this time. All of them were very focused on watching every move on the stage. For fear of missing a little detail confrontation. What kind of challenge is not the master, can have this wonderful? It's on fire, however, in the face of Lu Zhang, who was fighting fiercely with sword energy. Shu Lin just glanced at him silently, and then quickly took a few steps back, as if avoiding and not fighting. This cannot help but let the onlookers stunned. Can't you? Why did you retreat before this was fought? Could it be that Brother Lin is actually not good at fighting? Seeing this, Lu Ziang also frowned slightly and said, Shu Lin, what do you mean? Well, I'm afraid that the battle is too fierce and I can easily hurt myself. Shu Lin said very seriously. Then, before everyone could react, he waved his hand. Shish, shish, shish. 3 light groups of different colors suddenly appeared. Slaughter Feng Mengeling, Illusory Sword Mengeling, Yu Mengeling. It is 3 dream spirits. Except for the dry-hearted dream spirits who are still recuperating. The worker Mengeling squad is officially assembled. Shouldn't I be dazzled? Why do I seem to see 3 dream spirits? Be confident, take away the seem, that is the 3 dream spirits. As expected of Brother Lin, I don't even have a single dream spirit, and he has 3 with one wave of his hand. Wait, if I'm not mistaken, it shouldn't be Yu Mengeling of the 2nd star, right? Worry, it's true. And the fiery red one seems to be only 2 stars, but why haven't I seen it in the book? In the icy wind seems to be a bit like a gust of wind dreaming, but isn't it too bad? Could it be some rare mutant dream spirit? As soon as the 3 Mengelings appeared, they instantly caused a sensation in the examination room. Lu Ziang was no exception, with a stunned expression on his face. Although he also has dream spirits, there are only 2, and they are all 1-star dream spirits. It's not that he is incapable or that the Lu family has no money to buy him more. It's just that most of the dream spirits that can be bought and sold are tasteless, and very few precious dream spirits flow out. Moreover, the dream spirit is not the more the better, only the one that suits you. Too many and too complex, but will make the martial artist rely too much on the support and blessing of the dream spirit, thus reducing the warrior's own combat power. Besides, how can anyone use mangling like this? Line them up so that the opponent can see it thoroughly. This is no longer used to assist in combat, this is purely to show off wealth. Shu Lin, what do you mean? Show all your tricks. Do you underestimate me so much? Lu Zhang couldn't help but be a little annoyed. Even if it is really stronger than me, at least there must be the most basic respect. Hearing this, Shu Lin gave him a strange look and said, "Trick? What trick?" Bowing his head, he looked at a few little guys and said, "Did you leak tactics?" The three little guys immediately shook their small heads into bolang drums. "Look, obviously you didn't reveal any tricks." Quote question mark question mark question mark quote. Lu Zhang was stunned for a while, and finally realized Shu Lin's intentions. A handsome face is almost twisted into a twist. "Don't you want to let these dream spirits of yours come and fight for you and me directly?" When Shu Lin heard this, he immediately became unhappy, and turned to face the three Mangling Dao. "Little fellows, do you hear? He looks down on you. Slaughter Feng Mangling. Hoo. Yu Mangling. Wow, go ahead, I will protect you. Magic Sword Mangling. Dang. Why are you looking at me? I'm a blacksmith." Lu Zhang was angry. At this moment, he was really angry. Whether it was the cultivation level test or the blood test before. It's just because Shu Lin's performance is too inhuman, so he repeatedly beats him. This made him extremely frustrated, and even fell into autism. But that's not really humiliating. Until Shu Lin stepped on the ring, summoned his three dream spirits, and even let the dream spirits fight directly. This is humiliation to him. The veins on Lu Zhang's slightly swollen face burst out slightly. The power of qi and blood in the body turned into energy and burst out, and attached to the ancient Qingshan sword in his hand. Ow! The Qingshan ancient sword issued a crisp and clear sword sound, and a cyan mysterious light flashed out of the sword body. Shish! Lu Zhang swung his sword up. The figure is as fast as thunder. The Qingshan ancient sword in his hand drew a graceful arc in the air. There was a burst of wind breaking with a hint of coldness. Cut straight towards Shu Lin. In the face of this mighty and menacing sword, Shu Lin didn't plan to move at all. Wow! Yu Mangling let out a soft cry, and her illusory figure instantly transformed into a sky full of moonlight. The silver white and bright moonlight shone down. Make Shu Lin look like an exiled immortal in the 9 worlds, bathed in the moonlight. Then, the moonlight quickly condensed. Silver Moon Guardian. Once Yu Mangling's talent skills were released, the Yuehua light shield immediately stood up in front of Shu Lin. Den, the sharp blade of Qingshan ancient sword slashed on the moonlight shield as thin as a cicada's wings. But it was like being cut into a steel city wall. Immediately it was blasted away. Even Lu Ziyan, who was holding his sword tightly, took a few steps back with a look of astonishment on his face. How is this possible? Even a 2-star Yu Mangling can't have such a strong defensive ability. Shu Lin grinned. No way, my dream spirits are just as different as me. At the same time, Slayer Feng Mangling, who has always been the hottest in temperament, couldn't bear it any longer. The wide fiery red wings stretched out and slammed towards Lu Ziyan not far away. Killing storm. Above the arena, a ferocious and violent wind suddenly rose into the sky. Condensed into a fiery red hurricane in midair. Like a ferocious flame dragon, it raised its head and howled. In an instant, thousands of candidates present turned pale. The terrifying wind with a trace of murder in the madness. Even if they were so far apart, they only felt the pain from being shaved bgeb. What a terrible hurricane. It feels like it's going to scrape me over and crush it. You're pretty good, I'm closer, if it weren't for my 180-pound weight, I would have been swept away just now. Compared with me, you are already lucky. My 3-year beard has just been shaved. Compared to the screams in the audience, Lu Zhang, who was locked by this fiery red hurricane on the stage, felt even more bitter in his heart. In the very center of the killing storm, no one could appreciate the horror of this storm better than he. It is like a ferocious ancient beast, with blood-red eyes, trying to tear him to pieces. Every gust of wind blows, like the sharp teeth of a giant beast biting. The protective energy that caused him to break out of his body was completely shattered in an instant. A Yu Mangling is surprisingly strong in defense. What kind of ghost is this? Why is there such a perverted lethality? Seeing that the fiery red storm was about to completely roll him up, Lu Zhang clenched his teeth, his legs sank suddenly, and he pinched a strange trick. Do not move Ming Wang formula. These words popped out of the teeth with difficulty, and a faint golden light flashed in Lu Zhang's eyes. Immediately, the entire examination room was instantly lit up by a dazzling golden light. At this time, thousands of candidates were surprised to find out. The face of Lu Zhang, who had been battered by the slaughter storm and was in agony, suddenly calmed down. The whole body exudes a faint golden light that seems to carry supreme majesty. Under the protection of this mysterious golden light, the fiery red hurricane could no longer hurt him in the slightest. Fu Ming Wang Ju, the family heritage of the Lu family in the imperial capital, the ground-level defensive martial arts. Outside the examination room, Su Tiancheng's eyes moved slightly. I didn't expect that this little brat from the Lu family would be able to cultivate this level of martial arts to such a profound level. It seems that this time, if Shu Lin doesn't take action himself, the three dream spirits alone should not be able to break his defense. Really, Director Su, shall we make a bet? On the side, hearing Su Tiancheng's firm words, Zhang Hechan's blue eyes lit up immediately and said, boom. As soon as she finished speaking, Yan Xiao gave her an angry knock. Xiao He, don't be rude, you want to be called uncle, what does the little girl's family always like to join in the fun? Bet this kind of thing. Of course your lord should come. Are you right, Director Su? Su Tiancheng was looking at the examination room attentively, without thinking about it, he nodded subconsciously. Yan Xiao's peach blossom eyes blinked slyly. Okay, since you have agreed to Director Su, then our gambling contract can be established. Su Tiancheng, Zhang He. Now, on the second ring. Lu Zhang is like an old monk entering meditation, his eyes are slightly closed, his legs are like bundles of roots, and he is as stable as an old dog. The golden light of the protective body pushed back the strangulation of the killing storm again and again. It looks like the 8 winds are still and the 5 poisons are invincible. Let the killing storm have a powerful armor-piercing effect. But in the face of this layer of golden light, there was still nothing he could do. The turtle's shell is so thick. Slayer Feng Mengeling fanned his fiery red wings and was very angry. At this time, Huan Dao Mengeling, who had been watching the battle, suddenly called out, dang dang. It was as if he was communicating something with slaying Feng Mengeling. Can you do it? Dangadang, do you have a better way? It makes sense. Kill him. The brief tactical discussion ended. The magic knife Mengeling immediately transformed into 2 magic flying knives. Whizzing. I only heard 2 crisp cracking winds. The 2 phantom flying knives turned into 2 mysterious black afterimages and rushed into the killing storm. All of a sudden, dang dang, a piercing sound of cutting blades resounded throughout the examination room. The phantom throwing knife is under the blessing of the ultra-high-speed whirlwind of the killing storm. In a short period of time, it actually caused hundreds of violent attacks on Lu Zhang's body protection golden light. Spin, jump, I don't stop. The killing storm has turned into a meat grinder. Feeling the various cuts, slashes, and punctures from the golden light of the body protection, Lu Zhang's calm face, which was as steady as an old dog, suddenly flushed red. Shit, you dream spirit, you don't talk about martial arts. Now, outside the examination room, Su Tiancheng was stunned to see this scene in the ring. Couldn't speak for a long time. This kid's dream spirit is too evil, isn't it? Where did he find these so different dream spirits? It was also the first time that Yan Xiao saw such a strange fighting style. The beautiful eyes opened slightly, and the splendor continued. But she also gradually got used to the amazing behavior of her own good disciple, and quickly reacted. Glancing at Su Tiancheng, she pouted and said if it's a dream spirit that behaves so special, then it can be said that he is simply lucky good. But my good disciple's 3 dream spirits are all like this, so couldn't he cultivate them by himself? Su Tiancheng nodded silently. What Instructor Yan said is that I didn't think about it. Aside, Zhang He's pure blue eyes rolled around and said, this is not the most powerful dream spirit of the younger brother. He also has a dry heart dream spirit, which is even more perverted than this. Of course, that little guy is not suitable for this occasion, and it is easy to blow up the examination room. Su Tiancheng, Yan Xiao. At the same time, In the examination room, all the candidates have been stunned. My God, look at this blade spinning, it's like a meat grinder. In just 2 seconds, the bells and whistles of the imperial capital will be unable to stop it. It's miserable. It's terrible. If I were to go up, I'm afraid that within a second, the ashes would be scattered all over the examination room. Ha 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 ha. In 2 seconds, this is not a meat grinder, it's a juicer. As the students said, in the center of the fiery red storm, Lu Zhang couldn't bear it anymore. The golden light around the body has already dimmed to the extreme, and slight cracks gradually spread. You win, Lu Zhang cried out with a pale face. Hearing his surrender, Shu Lin slowly gave his first order after entering the ring. He waved to the 3 dream spirits in front of him. Come back, you are doing well, call out. The 3 dream spirits responded, turning into streamers and returning to Shu Lin's side. Look, I'll just say, I already respect you very much. Shu Lin grinned as he looked at Lu Zhang, who was leaning against the edge of the ring with a pale face. When Lu Zhang heard this, he could only wave his hand with a wry smile. Shu Lin, I've completely obeyed you. After all, he staggered down from the second ring, and walked towards the third ring with a face of resignation. When he looked up, he saw a big black face with a full beard. Hee, Student Lu, do you want to come to ring number 3 too? Shiraishi gave him a shy smile that looked like he was going to eat a child. Don't get me wrong, I'm really not targeting you. I just want to find a strong opponent to have a good fight and hone my fighting ability. Lu Zhang, then why don't you go to Shu Lin? He is the real power. Shiraishi looked serious. Oh, I want to be tempered, not abused. Lu Zhang, practicing, am I being used as a whetstone? So, now even you can insult me so recklessly. You big bald head with a darker face and a darker heart. Lu Zhang drew his sword in anger and leapt to the third ring. A quarter of an hour later, he came down again. Behind him, Shiraishi's voice was full of apology and even a little distressed. Student Lu, are you okay? Don't be sad. Actually, I can't beat you, you just got beaten up by Brother Lin. Lu Ziang, shut up. Time passed little by little. After Shu Lin abused Lu Zhang, Su Lingen mercilessly arrived on the first ring. And since his 3 dream spirits showed great power, after showing what a real meat grinder and juicer is, no more candidates approached the number 1 arena, and even a glance felt superfluous. Even the number 2 arena where Su Lingen was located was also extremely cold. Few candidates are willing to take the risk of offending Shu Lin to challenge Su Lingen. Of course, they also know that they do not have this qualification. After all, Su Lingen was originally the most dazzling talent in this college entrance examination except for Shu Lin and Lu Zhang. Except, with one exception. That, Student Su, are you free now? Is it inconvenient for Fang to discuss with me? Under the second ring, Beishi still held the smooth big braised egg head, and asked with a face full of embarrassment. As he spoke, he turned his head. With a sincere face, he looked at Shu Lin in the number 1 ring. Brother Lin, don't get me wrong, I just want to improve my fighting ability. Immediately step down after the fight. Stay for 1 more second and you'll just come and cut me. Seeing this, Shu Lin raised his eyebrows slightly. He watched the entire battle between Beishi and Lu Zhang just now. Behaving like a little girl with a bald head. Although he took advantage of Lu Zhang's excessive consumption of energy and blood to win the battle. However, this does not mean that he is not strong. On the contrary, he is still a little too strong. It's not like the combat power that a third-rank martial artist should have. That body with a defensive power so high that Lu Zhang couldn't even beat it. It's a bit too strong. As expected of another bald man. What made Shu Lin shudder even more was that the expression, demeanor, and the last concerned greeting to Lu Zhang in front of him. It always feels weird. It seems a bit beyond the stage of sympathy. This little bald head, shouldn't it be a small subject? What the hell is that adoring, shy expression on your face? Don't look at me. Come and see Lu Zhang. Shu Lin turned around silently, waved his hand and said, this is not my control, you stay away from me. 0. Shiraishi. At this moment, Su Lingen on the number 2 arena slowly stood up, her pretty face was cold, and she stretched out her hands into the void. A silver-white long sword shining with cold light appeared in her hand immediately. If you can take my sword, I can learn from you. The girl's clear and cold voice fell. A sword light fell lightly and lightly written. All of a sudden. Chong. A sword cry. The blood dance sword intent immediately reflects the blood sea of thousands of miles of corpses. Above the billowing waves of blood, there was a female sword immortal fluttering in white clothes, stepping on the mountain of corpses, and screeching in the guerrilla wind. A bloody sword light seemed to dance in the sky. The sword light wasn't sharp, but in the midst of picking and stabbing and dancing, lightly writing and reaping lives. At the same time, when Su Lingen Yijian pointed out, the sabers around the waists of all the candidates in the examination room trembled and whined. It's more like surrender than fear. Even the Qingshan ancient sword that Lu Zhang always regarded as his life. At this moment, he also whined and lowered his sword body, bowing to the silver-white long sword in Su Lingen's hand. At this moment, he realized that he seemed to have made a huge mistake. Even without Shu Lin present today, he would only be a foil. In this examination room, perhaps the most enchanting person was not Shu Lin, let alone him. It's Su Lingen. Quote. Under the second ring, Bai Shi silently swallowed a mouthful of saliva, turned his head and left without any hesitation. Excuse me. The invigilator stared blankly at this scene and murmured, "This is sword intent." Outside the examination room, Su Tiancheng silently opened his mouth. My mother, my daughter. Shan, Magic City Martial Arts University. In a quiet little courtyard. The two old men with bold hair and childish looks were sitting opposite each other at the small stone table and playing chess. They were the two old principals of Mowu University and Imperial University. The game is coming to an end, and black will win. Mo Wanzhong, who was dressed in a black tang suit and had a big back, pinched a sunspot and took another step to kill. Afterwards, he laughed at the old man in linen across from him. Ha 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 ha, Li Chengfeng. After so many years, you are still that stinky chess basket. Li Chengfeng's hand stiffened as he picked up the teacup, and when he was about to refute a few words. Suddenly, I sensed that a sword energy containing a chilling killing intent burst into the air, rushing straight to the top of the sky. The Blood Sea Corpse Mountain, the sword light dances. Straight to teach the entire demon city is rendered with a touch of death and icy sword energy. Mo Wanzhong looked up suddenly, his eyes widened. This is sword intent. Could it be that there is another great master and strong man born in the magic capital? Boom! Li Chengfeng's azure glazed Ru Kiln cup, which has always been the most cherished by 013, fell to the ground and shattered into pieces. But he didn't seem to care at all. A pair of deep eyes just stared blankly at the terrifying blood-colored sword intent on the horizon. After a long time, Li Chengfeng shook his head and said, "No. This is indeed the sword intent, but the power is far from enough. It's not a great master, it's like." The two looked at each other, and both saw the shock in the other's eyes. Warrior Realm. Mo Wanzhong closed his eyes slightly. The college entrance examination room. He opened his eyes and exclaimed in astonishment. There is a peerless genius who can comprehend the sword intent in the martial artist realm. Li Chengfeng, you said. Just when he turned to look at Li Chengfeng, he only saw the empty stone bench opposite. Where is Li Chengfeng's figure? In the distance, a smug laugh came from Yo-Yo. Mo Wanzhong, I'm going first. I haven't lost this game. And this peerless candidate is also my magic weapon. Ah ha 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 ha. Mo Wanzhong lowered his head subconsciously. Only see. The chess game that he had devised for a long time and could be easily won in just a few rounds has long been messed up. In the distance, Li Chengfeng's figure has disappeared at the end of his field of vision. Li Chengfeng, your uncle. Mo Wanzhong's frantic roar immediately reverberated throughout the Mowu campus. Countless students, including their tutors, raised their heads in astonishment. Calling the old principal's name without saying anything, he actually dared to scold the old principal like this at Mowu University. I'm afraid it's only an old friend who has known the old principal for many years, Mo Wanzhong, the old principal of the Imperial University, right? I don't know what the old principal did. Playing chess and flipping the chessboard again. Or are you playing poker? Immortals fight, can't be offended. Demon City No. 1 Middle School. In the examination room, The power of Su Lingen's sword is no less than that of Shu Lin. At this moment, everyone looked at Su Lingen standing floating above the second ring, with deep awe in their eyes. Sword intent. This is sword intent. She actually got the key to the realm of the great master in the realm of warriors. Even after this sword, even Shu Lin didn't seem so dazzling. The ownership of the first and second arenas is completely settled. Ring number 3 was still stood back by Shiraishi. As for Liu Zhang, this imperial capital Tianzhou seems to have begun to give up on himself after being attacked one after another. Totally worsened. I can't get the first and second, and I can't grab the third. I don't want to get the fourth. I'm going to be 10th. Just let those of you who want to pick up and steal chickens look at me eagerly. I can go to a higher ring, but I won't go, just play. Liu Zhang looked at the faces of the candidates who were filled with resentment under the ring number 10, and he was in a good mood. He finally found his position at the last moment of the end of the college entrance examination. The first person in the history of the college entrance examination. When, as the countdown ended, the bell rang. The college entrance examination is officially over. The invigilator stood on the high platform and loudly announced the results of the final round of the actual test. First place, Shu Lin. Second place, Su Lingen. Third place, Shiraishi. 10th place, Liu Zhang. Recited the 10th place with mixed emotions. Looking at Liu Zhang not far away, he looked like, I'm so rotten and I'm proud. I'm the 10th and I'm proud. The invigilator also sighed silently. This is really the worst peerless genius since the college entrance examination. There is no one in the past, and later. It is estimated that there will be no comers. I don't know how the Liu family in the imperial capital will know about this result. A juvenile genius who has devoted his entire family and cultivated meticulously for more than 10 years. A hope of the whole family who is regarded by the whole Liu family as being able to lead the family to glory again. A 17-year-old 5th-grade peak martial artist, peerless talent, and a martial arts genius who has repeatedly shaken the imperial capital. It only took a short day, even if it was destroyed and clean. Thinking of this, the invigilator couldn't help shivering. He has made a decision silently in his heart. Resign immediately after a while, this invigilator can't do it. It's too dangerous. At this moment, suddenly there are 2 rainbow lights breaking through the sky in the distance. Wherever he went, the clouds scattered for thousands of miles, and the sky shook faintly. In the shocked eyes of everyone, the 2 Heffa old men landed firmly on the examination room. Ha ha, Li Changfeng, you are not only a stinky chess player who can't afford to lose, but you don't improve your speed. Mo Wanzhong straightened his black tang suit, and then combed his big back, which was ruffled by the wind. He turned his head and sneered at Li Changfeng who was overtaken by him. Hearing this, Li Changfeng snorted coldly. I don't know who it is. The shameless one just attacked me from behind. If it hadn't been influenced by you, I would have arrived long ago. You can't even drink soup. At this time, Su Tiancheng and Yan Xiao also walked over quickly. 2 old principals, why are you here? Su Tiancheng asked in surprise. Li Changfeng glanced at him and said, oh, it's Xiao Su. It's okay. We just went out for a walk when we were full, nothing major. By the way, Lingen's child is also taking the college entrance examination today, right? Su Tiancheng nodded quickly and said yes, you still remember her. Li Changfeng waved his hand. Lingen is a good boy, but you, the old man, can't be too careless. It's appropriate to let the little girl go out on her own. Facing Li Changfeng's suggestion, Su Tiancheng could only agree with a wry smile. In front of the old principal, he was like a student, without the majesty of the director of the Magic Capital Military Administration Bureau. Hey, Lingen, come and see Grandpa Li and Grandpa Mo. Seeing that my father actually appeared in the examination room and waved at him. Although Su Lingen was a little surprised, she didn't think much about it. She put away her sword and walked over. A cold blood dance sword intent slowly converged back into the body. Grandpa Li, Grandpa Mo. Su Lingen bowed slightly to the 2 old principals and said hello. But at this moment, both Li Changfeng and Mo Wanzhong were stunned. They have just seen. The cold sword intent that soared into the sky clearly came from the sword in Su Lingen's hand. Half an hour. Li Chengfeng turned his head to look at Su Tiancheng and said, Xiao Su. Do you remember what I just said to you? Seeing that the old words were repeated, Su Tiancheng nodded solemnly. Don't worry, old principal, I can't forget your old man's words. In the future, I will definitely let Lingen go out more and more. Li Chengfeng listened, and patted his shoulder with great relief. Well, then you can forget those words now. Remember, you must not let Lingen go out alone in the future, it's too dangerous. You should protect her well, for example. An impregnable and safe place like Mowu. I think it's a good fit. Su Tiancheng, Li Chengfeng, you can point your face. In terms of safety factor, no matter how powerful your magic weapon is, can you be as powerful as my emperor? My emperor has more than one great master. Mo Wanzhong saw through Li Chengfeng's thoughts and immediately retorted. Li Chengfeng sneered. Ah yes yes yes. Your emperor does have two great masters. But the problem is, where is the other great master of your imperial college? Are you busy putting out fires everywhere? Don't forget, if the imperial capital is really that safe, do the candidates from the imperial capital need to come to the capital? As soon as these words came out, Mo Wanzhong was speechless. It is true that Emperor Da is indeed stronger than Mowu in terms of top powerhouses, and there are two great masters in total. However, Li Chengfeng was right. In the past year, the number of alien invasions in the imperial capital far exceeded that of the magic capital. But, Mo Wanzhong quickly thought of a countermeasure, he said with a smile. What's so difficult? I can make an exception to accept Lingen as a closed disciple. With my protection, there is no need for an alien race. I guarantee that Leng Yan won't hurt even a single hair. Ouch! Li Chengfeng was not convinced and rolled up his sleeves. When it comes to accepting Lingen as a disciple, no matter how you look at it, it should be Lao Su. I've watched this girl Lingen grow up since she was 16. The two old men talked more and more vigorously. In the beginning, it was limited to the exchange of words. To later, just start yelling at each other. Te Niangs, Li Chengfeng, just now you ruined my account of a good game of chess, and I haven't settled it with you. Tisk tisk tisk, what good chess? Why didn't I see it? It's obviously a draw. Li Dog Thief, you are almost buried in the eyebrows, what face is there to accept closed disciples? Mo Old Man, I can stab you to death with a silver spear. The old man can chop you with one knife. Seeing that the two old men rolled up their cuffs and trousers. It looks like the old farmer in the field will fight with a hoe if he disagrees. The people around were shocked. Fortunately, crucial moment. An earth-shattering roar of a woman came from afar, interrupting the two old principals who were blushing and thick-necked. Two immortals, if you want to fight, don't fight in the old lady's territory. Go back to your own school. It is Lu Jin's unique lion's roar skill. In an instant, the sky is clear and the rain has stopped. The two old men looked at each other with disgust, and both of their old faces shivered. Mo, old man, I have another class this afternoon, I will come to clean you up after class is over. Bah, old thief Li, if it wasn't for the soup being boiled at the old man's house in the imperial capital, you would have to be carried back to Mowu today. Then, Laozi went to class. The old man is also going home for soup. Goodbye, chat back, in the incomprehensible eyes of everyone. The two old principals of the Grand Master realm glared at each other, hard-heartedly, then turned into rainbow lights and disappeared into the examination room. Quote. Su Tiancheng was stunned for a while, just about to say something to save this embarrassing situation. But see, Li Chengfeng hunched his back and quietly stuck his head out of the grass beside him. That, girl Lengen, remember, your grandfather Li, ah no, your master is waiting for you at Mowu. Before Su Lingen could speak, another figure quietly appeared behind Li Chengfeng. He, thief Li, after decades, you are still the same chicken thief. Li Chengfeng was startled, and when he turned around, he saw Mo Wanzhong sneer, I've seen through you a long time ago. Quote. Mo Lao Pif, you have learned badly. Thank you for your gift, old thief Li. Shish, be quiet, don't let that girl hear you. That's also because you old thief is immortal. Let's go to the head office together this time. Go. The two old men crept back into the grass again. On the spot, only a group of people whose three views were shattered were left messed up in the wind. This is the old principal of the two top universities, Mowu and Imperial University. A master in the Grand Master realm, a figure standing at the pinnacle of martial arts. That's it. Aren't you kidding me? Cough cough. Lingen, you see that the two old principals value you so much, do you have any ideas? Su Tiancheng looked at Su Lingen with a wry smile and asked. Magic. Su Lingen glanced at Shu Lin, and then said concisely. Now that Shu Lin has decided to go to Mowu, she naturally doesn't have to think about it anymore. Naturally, Su Tiancheng also saw the little movements of his daughter, and his mood was extremely complicated. There is a feeling that my own Chinese cabbage has been arched by a pig. But after being silent for a long time, Su Tiancheng still chose to respect his daughter's decision, nodded and said. Okay, Mowu is also good, at least it's close to home. Then you now. Su Tiancheng wanted to say, let's go home with daddy. But thinking of Su Lingen's unrepentant appearance last night, she couldn't bear it anymore. Su Lingen looked at her father's complex expression of pride, loss, grief and anger, and said helplessly. Come on dad, let's go home first. Ah, fine, go home. Announce the good news to your mother. Su Tiancheng was stunned for a moment, and then he immediately showed a look of ecstasy. Taking advantage of Su Lingen's effort to walk outside the examination room, Su Tiancheng quickly turned his head and whispered to Shu Lin. Boy, you did a good job today. Next time if anyone dares to harass Lingen, I will interrupt him directly. Don't care about your identity, just report my name, Su Tiancheng. After speaking, Shu Lin didn't wait for Shu Lin to react from being caught off guard. Su Tiancheng has turned his head and strode away. Drip. When the news came from the phone, Shu Lin opened it and grinned. School flower baby. One day later, when you see Mowu, you are not allowed to touch flowers, otherwise, In this world, from the college entrance examination to the start of the university, there is only 1 day of vacation in between. 1 day, just bear with it and it will pass. It's just that I can perfect that blood recovery technique. By the way, give a few little dream spirits a good training. And then, of course, live a happy cohabitation life. Oh, I almost forgot, and Zhonghe's little white-haired loli. Cough, that, senpai. Come here, I have something to tell you. Shu Lin waved to Zhonghe. Then, under Yan Ziyao's suspicious and sullen expression, Zhonghe jumped up beside Shu Lin, and the two of them whispered for a while. As if whispering something. The volume is so low that even her grandmaster's strong ears can't hear clearly. Only vague, broken words could be heard. Restriction, 3 meters, cohabitation. Wait, something doesn't seem right. Cohabitation. Yan Ziyao's peach blossom eyes widened immediately, and an inexplicable feeling of being betrayed emerged spontaneously. Well, that's the general situation, you understand. Shu Lin quickly finished speaking in a very decent tone. However, what greeted him was Zhonghe's perverted look of horror. Little brother, you are so perverted. Do you want to swim again? Shu Lin asked threateningly. I'm sorry dad, I was wrong. Zhonghe resolutely confessed, his head with short silver hair lowered, and his delicate little face was full of blush. Shame to death, shame to death. He was threatened by his junior brother and junior brother to live together, Is there really such a strange trigger condition? Could it be that the elementary school brother has a big heart? Sure enough, no one can resist the attraction of my beautiful face, not even a junior. Cough cough. At this moment, a light cough sounded in a bad tone. As soon as Zhonghe raised his head, he saw Yan Ziyao's grudge of being abandoned, staring at her face non-stop. Xiao Hehe, why is your face so red? Well, it's too hot. Zhonghe stuck out his tongue and said guilty. Really? Yan Ziyao didn't believe her nonsense at all. She turned her head and looked at Shu Lin with her mouth up. Stinky brother, do you despise your elder sister? Looking at Yan Ziyao, who resented like a young daughter-in-law abandoned by her husband, Shu Lin was sweating profusely. How is that possible? Teacher, you are such a beautiful beauty like a fairy, how could I despise you? Impossible, absolutely impossible. Only then did Yan Ziyao lose some of her depression. Her eyebrows raised, and a faint blush appeared on her charming and pretty face. The small white hands pretended to cover his face, and a pair of peach blossom eyes gleamed from the gaps between his fingers. Hate. Is my sister really as good looking as you say? Of course. The teacher is absolutely the most beautiful in my mind. Shu Lin was decisive and did not hesitate at all. And the best, most green tea, most fool, most lewd. Of course, it is absolutely impossible for him to say these words. Giggle giggle, stinky brother, if you say that, elder sister will be proud. Yan Ziao was so happy that the flowers trembled, so she stopped questioning the two of them. Okay, for the sake of your sweetness and honesty, my sister will spare you. Turning her eyes, she looked at Zhang He suspiciously. Xiao He, why are you still here? Why don't you go back to class? Quote. What's going on? What just happened? Shouldn't the original pattern be, me, teacher, you, and my younger brother? Why did it suddenly become, little brother, teacher, you, and me? When did I become that superfluous person? Teacher, aren't you going back to school? Don't you have classes this afternoon? Zhang He said with a small mouth. Is there? I don't remember. Yan Ziao blinked her peach blossom eyes and waved her hands. It's all right. Even if it was there before, it's gone now. Sister, I deliberately asked for a whole day's leave. Then I want to invite too. 5 Zhang He shouted. That sister doesn't approve. Quote. Humph, you are cruel. Zhang He was so angry that he put his hands on his hips and stomped his little feet fiercely. The little black leather shoes twisted and turned on the plastic floor. Yan Zishan turned around proudly. A long black and supple hair was scattered on the small waist that Ying Ying held, holding Shu Lin's hand. Half inviting and half holding, he dragged Shu Lin with a face full of hopelessness and left. In situ, only a lonely little loli crouched down silently and drew small circles on the ground. Bad teacher, bad woman, witch, you, twist your feet, twist your waist, auntie visits early. On the bustling streets of the magic capital. Teacher, where are you taking me? Say it in advance, I'm not a showman. Yan Ziao glanced at him half smile. Yo, you stinky brother, learn to be rude to your elder sister. I'm sorry teacher, I was wrong. Shu Lin apologized immediately, his eyes full of innocence. Humph. Yan Ziao hummed angrily. You stinky brother with no conscience, elder sister kindly prepared to give you a reward in advance, but you still doubt elder sister. Woo, my sister is so sad. Quote. Teacher, you said it earlier. Of course I am very happy about this kind of thing. As soon as he heard the reward, Shu Lin's eyes lit up and his whole body was full of energy. My waist is no longer sore. My legs are no longer sore, and I can go up to the 18th floor in one breath without panting. Yan Ziao pursed her lips and stared at him with her big eyes, but did not speak. I almost wrote the 3 words, you coax me, on my face. Shu Lin immediately understood and asked earnestly, Teacher, guess what I want to eat now? You are hungry. Teacher, you should ask me what I want to eat. Well, what do you want to eat? Looking at you madly. PFF'd. Yan Ziao covered her mouth and smiled, her brows and eyes raised with crescent moons, her peach blossom eyes were pretty and demonic, and the water covered the fog. Although I know that Shu Lin is simply making her happy. But Yan Ziao was still happy. She clearly wanted to tease her wicked disciple, but she, the teacher, felt like she was being teased. There were countless people chasing after her. From the Tianzhou children of various martial arts families to the star mentors of various schools. It is no exaggeration to say that this entire prosperous and lively demon city street can be lined up. In order to make her smile, all kinds of tricks have been seen over and over again. Love letters and love words are nothing at all. There are even grandmaster warriors who have exhausted all their vigor and blood, just to condense into a strange operation in the sky. But she didn't bother to look up. As a result, the young master who had a promising future was hit hard, and from then on, he never recovered, and his cultivation did not advance but retreated. After this battle, she became famous in a battle and was known as the magic martial demon girl who sees a demon girl for a lifetime. But at this moment, she was amused by Shu Lin's heartless and earthy love words. Humph, for the sake of correcting your mistake. Hey, your champion award. Yan Ziao stopped smiling. Reach out. On the palm of the white as jade, a ball of light emitting bright starlight appeared. Thank you, teacher. Good luck. Shu Lin smiled and took the ball of light. In front of him, the information of this dream spirit immediately appeared on the attribute panel. Starfall Dream Spirit referred to as Starfall Dream Spirit. 2-star Rare Dream Spirit. Special Amplification. The place where the starlight is scattered is the night of starfall, which can provide the host with a large amount of attribute increase, and can slightly weaken the enemies within the range of the night of starfall. Special Talent. Fall of the Stars. Summons the power of starlight left by the dead stars, and causes dozens of meteor strikes with amazing power to the enemy within the range of the starry night. Starry Night. Quickly browse the information of Xingyu Mengeling. Shu Lin was first shocked by the strength of the 2-star Rare Dream Spirit, which can be said to be against the sky. Immediately, he suddenly thought of something. Starry Night. Could it also belong to the night? To be more precise, can Starfall Night trigger the effect that Yu Mengeling can provide multiplied attributes at night? Star and Moon. It seems, what an incredible combination has been discovered. Hey, smelly brother. With Mengeling, I don't care about my sister, right? In his ears, Yan Zishan's dissatisfied muttering sounded. Shu Lin quickly put away Xingyan Mengeling and said solemnly. How can it be? I'm not worried about you, teacher. Will there be any trouble for awarding the champion to me so hastily? Hearing this, Yan Xiao stretched out indifferently, revealing her beautiful curves. Who dares to trouble me? See if my sister doesn't beat them to nothing. Besides, it's really not good, then the elder sister can only sell you. Just say that you forced me. Saying that, Yan Xiao once again showed her unique face-changing technique, and she wanted to cry. Wu, sister, a weak woman, was forced by her own villains to hand over her baby. Seeing that people are so pitiful, they will definitely not pursue it. Shu Lin, teacher, you are enough. I always feel that my demon female tutor is so weird today. Why did the resentment in his eyes come up when he looked at me? Addicted to acting. Humph. Smelly brother, bad apprentice, elder sister asks you, are you and my little Hehe hiding something bad from me? Yan Zishan suddenly changed the subject and asked. This, Teacher, do you want to eat Odin? I'll buy you a bunch. Shu Lin pretended to be deaf and dumb, ready to escape. As a result, Yan Xiao pulled him back. Stinky brother, you didn't explain things clearly today. Elder sister didn't eat Odin, and ate you in one bite. Staring at Yan Xiao's fierce eyes, Shu Lin's eyes were a little weird, and he nodded with a face full of humiliation. Quote. Exclamation mark quote. Bah, how tall you are. Looking at his heroic appearance, Yan Xiao realized that something was wrong. A rosy glow appeared on her charming and beautiful face. Reaching out her slender fingers, she mercilessly knocked a chestnut on Shu Lin's head. Quote. Shu Lin covered his head, his face innocent. Not right. Very wrong. Why does the demon teacher seem to be possessed by the school flower baby, and suddenly her temper begins to be cloudy and uncertain? Could it be relatives? Very likely. Just when he was still hesitating whether to buy some hot water for the demon teacher to drink. But I heard Yan Xiao say casually. Don't blame my sister for not reminding you, that girl Zhang He is chased by many people in Mowu. Oh, Mowu students are so shameless, they don't even spare a little loli. When Shu Lin heard this, he immediately said with righteous indignation. Yan Xiao rolled his eyes at him angrily. Shameless to have you shameless again. Apparently it has already started, right? And that's Su Tiancheng's daughter, who has already lived together. Bah, scumbag bad boy. By the way, teacher, among those chasing Zhang He, are there any people with high cultivation? I don't mean anything else, I'm just curious. Shu Lin asked. Believe in you. Yan Xiao pouted, suddenly thought of something interesting, and teased. Yes, not only does it exist, but it's also number 1 on the Mowu Tianzhao list. How? Are you afraid? Cut. What's there to be afraid of? Doesn't Lu Zhang also claim to be a genius? Shu Lin was very disdainful. Yan Xiao giggled. Lu Xiang can only be said to be the arrogance of the younger generation, but he hasn't grown up yet. But this one, that is a veritable genius, the kind who has killed a third-order master realm alien. How? Are you afraid this time? Shu Lin. A million dots. Ha. Yan Xiao suddenly laughed wickedly as if she had succeeded in a prank. It's useless to be afraid, aren't you going to enter the dream experiment class? He will be the leading teacher of your dream experiment class. Shu Lin was silent for a moment, then said, "Is it too late for me to quit now?" "BGEB. It's too late, you are the champion of the college entrance examination. How could Mowu let you go? Speaking of which, I don't seem to have submitted the declaration form of Mowu yet." What did you say? Smelly brother, say it again." Under the threat of Yan Ziyao's peach blossom eyes suddenly sharpening, Shu Lin laughed awkwardly. "Ah ha ha, that is of course impossible. My heart of a fist has already been handed over to you, teacher." "There is a problem. There is a big problem. The demon teacher definitely has relatives visiting, it's terrible." That's about it." Yan Ziyao's eyes softened again, she took Shu Lin's arm again, and continued shopping. "Actually, there is nothing to worry about Yongjin. Oh, that is the number one on the Tianzhou list." "Why?" "Because people are arrogant and arrogant, they won't look down on you as a little freshman." "Why can't I be happy? I always feel insulted." Giggle. "Then you have to work hard and try to humiliate back as soon as possible." "I mean, you were insulted by the teacher." That stinky brother, are you trying to insult the teacher?" Cough cough, when I didn't say it. Shu Lin coughed violently. "How can I answer this? If you deny it, I always feel a little disrespectful to you, teacher." "Okay, I won't tease you anymore. In fact, the reason why I want to support Zhonghe, sister, is to pull you out alone. I have something important to tell you about that girl." With that said, Yan Zishan's face suddenly became solemn. There was even a hint of worry and hidden sadness in his eyes. "Sister, what's the matter?" For some reason, Shu Lin suddenly had a bad feeling in his heart. As predicted, Yan Ziyao's next sentence left him stunned. Zhonghe is sick, or more accurately, he has a curse on his body. Curse. Shu Lin was stunned. He suddenly thought of something and said, "Unlucky." Hearing this, Yan Ziyao glanced at him in surprise, and then an inexplicable brilliance flashed in his eyes. The relationship between the two of you is really not easy." Yan Ziyao snorted lightly, but this time she didn't ask any further questions, and continued. "Yes, bad luck is one of the manifestations of the curse on her. But it's nothing, at most let her suffer a little more and suffer a little more." Shu Lin said, "This is nothing. She is the ultimate unlucky fool who can swim in the endless sea of misery for months." Yan Ziyao glanced at him and said, "Because there is a more terrifying curse effect than this. It will never be life." Yan Ziyao's words struck Shu Lin's head like a thunderbolt. He couldn't tell what it felt like. Shocked, absurd, sad. Think of that little loli with short silver hair, petite and cute, narcissistic and arrogant. Shu Lin suddenly felt a little distressed. So, the god she always talks about is jealous of her beauty. Isn't it pure narcissism? A wry smile appeared on the corner of his mouth, not knowing what to say. "Teacher, why did she have this curse? And, is there a solution?" Yan Ziyao sighed and said, "Did you know about the Zhang family in the Devil's capital?" Shu Lin shook his head. "I don't know." "Okay, let's put it this way. 100 years ago, the Dreamland aliens launched an unprecedented invasion war. The location is in the magic capital. Yang's family, that is, the family of Zhonghe's little girl, was the most prosperous martial arts family at that time. It has 2 strong men in the half-king realm. At the same time, the Zhang family also made the greatest contribution to defending against alien races in that battle, and it can be said that they were the ones who helped the building. However, the price is that in a shocking battle against aliens in the half-kingdom, one of the Zhang family's 2 half-kingdom powerhouses died and the other was seriously injured. Furthermore, when the half-king level alien spirit body dissipated, it also placed a vicious and strange bloodline curse on the severely injured half-king level powerhouse of the Zhang family. Since that day, all the descendants of the Zhang family's bloodline will carry that curse with them from birth." After Yan Ziyao finished speaking with a slightly serious expression, Shu Lin was very puzzled. With such a terrifying curse, how did the Zhang family continue to this day? Because the effect of this curse varies from person to person, the more talented the Zhang family heir, the stronger the curse power in his body. Not only bad luck, but also affects Shoyuan. On the contrary, those Zhang family heirs who are not very talented will only be slightly affected by the power of the curse. Yan Ziyao explained. This is also the reason why the Zhang family is in decline. 3. That's it, what a vicious curse. Shu Lin clenched his teeth slightly and squeezed out a voice from between his teeth. That senior's talent is so perverted, isn't she? Yes, Zhang He is not only a genius, but also the genius with the highest talent and the strongest curse in the entire Zhang family for 100 years. It's only her last year. Yan Ziyao pursed her lips slightly, her peach blossom eyes were covered by a hazy mist. Boom, like a thunderbolt. Shu Lin was sluggish for a long time, and then asked in a dry voice, isn't there any way to solve it? Yes, as long as you enter the dream space and kill the cursed half-king alien race, the curse will be solved naturally. Half-king realm, which realm is it? It was the first time Shu Lin heard the name of this unfamiliar realm and asked with a bit of luck. Above the Grand Master, and below the Martial King realm, is the Half-King realm. Hearing Yan Ziyao's answer, he paused again. It is actually a big realm higher than the Grand Master realm of the old principal of Mowu. Not to mention whether he can, in this short 1 year, reaching a state he had never heard of before, even if it is achieved. The dream space is so big, looking for an alien in the Half-King realm is tantamount to Haidilao. And many more. Almost forgot. I also have a hidden job as a judge. Isn't judgment rhythm, one of the 2 professional talents, the strongest cheat for finding aliens? Although the scope of monitoring is still very limited. But as long as the level is high, are you afraid that you won't be able to improve? Shu Lin's eyes suddenly lit up, and the thoughts in his mind were instantly clear. The priority is still to upgrade. Strive to reach the Half-King realm, or even the Martial King realm as soon as possible. The second is hunting aliens that invade the real world. Brush up the professional level of the Inquisitor as soon as possible. Dear daughter, this time, let's wait for the convincing to call me daddy. At this moment, Yan Ziyao, who was beside him, mentioned this matter, and there was some uncontrollable sadness in his heart. As soon as he turned his head, he saw Shu Lin's excited look on his face. Before she could speak, Shu Lin asked with an extremely urgent expression. Teacher, I may have a way to save the good, save the senior. But I need instant information on a lot of alien invasions, do you have a way? The faint anger in Yan Ziyao's heart instantly vanished, and she immediately worried. Good boy, are you kidding me? Sister knows that you may not be able to accept this news for a while, but don't scare my sister. Shu Lin pointed at himself helplessly and asked, Teacher, what did you see from me? It's a miracle. Oh yeah. Yan Ziyao looked at him and nodded silently. It is indeed a miracle to be able to cross from a first-rank apprentice martial artist to a third-rank martial artist in 3 days. So, aren't you crazy, darling? Is there really a way? A dazzling brilliance flashed in her eyes. Shu Lin nodded solemnly. Although I'm not 100% sure, there is a chance. Probably. Needless to say, even a 1% or 1,000th chance is a chance. Yan Ziyao interrupted him and almost jumped up excitedly. As for the news of the alien invasion, you don't need to ask for it, it will come naturally when you arrive at Mowu. Don't forget, you are going to enter the Dreamland experimental class, and the most important task is to assist in solving the incident of the alien invasion. As for the rest, as long as you need it, I will ask for anything, even if my sister doesn't have it, I will grab it for you. That's good. The corners of Shu Lin's mouth rose slightly, and just as he was about to speak, Yan Ziyao hugged him in his arms. Dude, you are wonderful, beautiful woman in her arms. The long smooth black hair fell on his face with the breeze blowing through the street. The tip of the nose is lightly sniffed, and a faint fragrance can be smelled. Shu Lin was slightly stunned, before he had time to react as he should. Yan Ziyao had let go of him. She winked peach blossom eyes at him playfully. This is the special reward that Big Sister gave you. How is it? Is Big Sister good to you? It's too fast, I haven't felt it completely yet. Shu Lin told the truth. Yan Ziyao snorted softly, you greedy stinky brother, if you have this, you can have fun. Don't forget, elder sister is waiting for you at Mowu. I won't see you at the entrance ceremony, but I will be angry. The kind that can't be coaxed. If it's on time, can you greet your students with a hug? Shu Lin asked. Yan Ziyao blinked her peach blossom eyes. Well, it depends on your performance. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.